Hail, and welcome to HomeBhoys.
That's a really bad swear.
It says comedy, low honk, which I thought suited you pretty well. So.
Literally, Helsinki couldn't cope with the tempo we played.
I'm not mental or anything Wayne's World style, but is there a chance that I can meet you in the future?
But let's not suddenly pretend we're all pals. We're not going to be skipping up the Gorky Road, holding hands with hat slams or nothing.
But do we throw back to the 80s, you know? we're trying to get football back to the 80s.
Aberdeen, Kenny kick a jelly bean. Rangers won a rubber duck, Celtic won the World Cup.
Brilliant.
Wow. Tell me who your favourite player is.
My favourite player is Paddy McCourt.
Yes, Joe, get it right up
there. So, let's get down to business. Hail, and welcome to the HomeBhoys Live phone-in show with myself, Joe McKenna. We're here on a very fine, what day is it, Monday? On a Monday evening after a fine domestic display by Celtic at the weekend. And of course, joined by the stand-up guy in the HomeBhoys, Jason Higgins.
I don't know about that. How you doing, mate?
Not too bad. This week we haven't got Paul Larkin. He's off counting all that bandpad money. We haven't got Harper. He's off making millions. He's taken over the place he works in. You know, Harper's
He's off just being the count.
Yes, he's being the count. He just takes over wherever he goes. It's his huge personality, and he doesn't let it stop him. We're joined by the Parrot. Parrot, you there?
Good evening, guys. How you doing?
And we are going to talk about... We didn't have a show last week, did we?
No.
So we've got 2 weeks missing. I can't remember what we're meant to be talking about. We're just going to kick off talking about Spartak, I think, and even though it's probably been covered to death on the network, we may as well go ahead and talk about it because we haven't had our say, and that's what this show's all about. It's all about us. Oh, by the way, Skype in. I've realised, listening to the past few shows, that I forgot to tell people to Skype in, and that's why we've had no callers. So Skype in. Right. Search HomeBhoys. That's a capital H and a capital B, all one word, on Skype. And add us, and we'll just let you join into the conversation. And then, hoping that we don't forget you're there, we'll bring you into the conversation. You can make your points and whatever. So everybody's welcome. You can say what you want. It's an open platform. So let's get down to talking about Spartak game and the fact that Celtic are... Neil Lennon's the youngest manager in the last 16 of the Champions League. Did I read that today?
That's correct, mate, yeah.
And Celtic has probably got the cheapest squad.
It's a good bet. It's a good get.
Absolutely. Well, it's got to be. Yeah, because Schalke's got... they've got the Dutch boy. He'd have cost a few quid. He'd have cost more than our team. The forward by the big long name.
Huntelaar.
Aye. Huntelaar. He'd have cost... I don't know, is your Real Madrid man, is he still playing with him?
Raul? I don't know.
Raul.
That was a weird decision for him to go there. I never understood that. But, so I'm a qualifier of the group with 10 points, and we did it on merit alone. So, I mean, I know like the Barcelona game, everybody's going to point at that now and say that was the highlight of the campaign, right? But, I mean, because of the atmosphere and because of the whole night and the feeling previous day at the service, which is now on DVD, by the way, What was last week like? Were you both there, or was one of you there, or what's the story?
On you go, Stephen.
No, I was at the game. I met Jason before it for a quick bell of words. Doing the Gallagate. No, I was on the Australian show on Friday, and I just said, I don't know about Jason, but I mean, the highlight of the campaign for me has been Moscow, because 3 points away and 3 points at Parkhead. It's the most nervous I've ever been at Celtic Park, and home, and I just flew up. Never known an atmosphere like it, just so tense.
I was listening to your Australian show and I sort of chuckled. You'd already told me you said that, but to hear you saying it online, you threw up. I was like, that's brilliant.
You threw up.
Mate, I was hoping. I hope nobody found out it was morning sickness or something. I didn't want to start getting back calls. You know what I mean? But not my finest moments spewing up. But here, alcohol free on me, but just absolutely delighted to get through. As you say, on my own merit.
Aye, so I finished work about about 5 o'clock, Joe, and arranged to meet Stephen up by the Gallagate. So up there with a few folk for work. Stephen was in, a few of my mates were in, and I with a right good laugh before the game. A few pints. Obviously, your man's he's on the Kiora, he's on the soft juice.
I was in the laptop watching the Gallagates.
Aye, I know, because nightmare. I was working in Birmingham the following day, Joe. Right, so I've everything planned. I need to pack my bag when I get home for the game. I'm leaving at 6:05 the next morning to go working in Birmingham. And as I'm ready to pack up in the office, I'm like, I need this laptop. I was like, you are joking. I had to take the bloody laptop to the game with me. Oh, no. I'm up the Gallagate with this laptop.
People walking up to you going, how much are you selling it for?
I had to take it to the game with me under the seat and things like that. But everything was fine. And a few of my mates for Liverpool, they came in, a few Evertonians. And the Parrot and them have got a friend that both have known for a good few years. And the guy's absolutely radio rental by all accounts. I don't know him. But it was a great day and good laugh before the game. But everybody was quite nervous, and to be honest with you, I didn't know what to expect. And it transpired, I had no idea that was going to happen. I had something in my head that Messi was going to play. I just thought it was Xavi and Iniesta and a couple of others. But then you seen the team Barcelona put out, and I was listening to Paul was a bit peeved off, or other people were peeved off. I wasn't, because Barcelona was nothing. Yeah. You know. They look after themselves. See all this crap, we're their second team and all this, a lot of nonsense. They do not give a damn about us. And why should they? You know, they're this big conglomerate, this big, massive giant of a club, worldwide name, one of the brands of the world's football. They've got Messi, the poster boy for any kid that plays football. They're 500 million in debt. They're totally corrupt to the core. So what have they got to do with us? You know, absolutely nothing. We're just this wee daft team for Scotland that stands on our own 2 feet, and that's the way it should be. We don't need no favours for anybody. Although it would have been nice.
Well, I watched the highlights of that game afterwards, and Jesus, Benfica had some great chances, like.
I've still never seen it. My brother texted me. He was watching it and he says, aye. But they had it on one of the lounges, one of the highlights and stuff. But we'd no idea, and everybody's phones went down, so nobody could even get live score on their phone. Good. It was showing like a 3G signal, but nobody could get in. So the odd folk were getting texts. I got a text saying it was still 0-0. And then that bit through the second half where somebody started a rumour that Barcelona had scored. And it goes on, but then a guy next to me says, look, it's still 0-0. So towards the end of the game, you didn't know. I was actually praying for Barcelona to score. You know, I was still quite calm during the game, thinking to myself, Barcelona will score, surely. But as time went on, then we get the penalty because Samaras, it was scythed in the box. It was like Daisy Goycochea, the butcher of Bilbao, took him out.
What's her name for the past times?
No, it was. I could take the penalty all day long. I think there was a bit of contact, but he obviously was looking for it. But good enough for him.
Did your heart?
That's the way every other team in Europe does it. Do you know what I mean? None of them worry about us.
Did your heart skip a beat when the ball hit the underside of the bar?
Absolutely. The guy in front of me, he wasn't looking, and I wasn't looking. So he had his head on like the back of his seat, looking towards me, and then I had my head on the back of my seat, and then this guy behind me said, "Just watch, pal, we'll score." So I turned around and just see when the ball, because I'm right in line with the byline in the top tier. Well, you know where my seat is. No,
I'm standing there, yeah.
So I've just seen the ball rising, and I'm saying to myself, that's getting out of the bar. And then it just hits the bar and goes, I know, the relief, but fantastic. And I thought after that, we didn't look as if we were going to let a goal in.
No.
So, but at the end, I moved up to the halfway line. My big mate Des was giving me a lift home, so I moved up to sit with him towards the end of the game. And when the final whistle went, you seen our bench spilling on the park. But even then, we didn't know. You know, I was saying, surely Barcelona's drew or they've won. You know, because surely the bench wouldn't spill on the part of that. But still, until you get the confirmation yourself, and then it come up on the screen, happy days. In London calling, which went on a bit long, but...
I heard that. That was a great touch as well. But I heard them playing I seen a video on YouTube of them playing the Barcelona anthem as well.
See, that made me sick.
I as soon as I seen that, I thought of you. I said, Jason's not going to like that one bit.
What's that all about? What the hell did they do for us? You know, what do we owe them? That honestly, it smacks it. Oh, I was sick. I only heard it on the radio on the way back, but...
it does kind of give you that sort of, we're not worthy kind of thing. You know what I mean?
What the hell have they done for us? You know, I know a few of their players, it's a great atmosphere at Celtic Park. A big deal.
They're not bad tickets. What does it matter what they think?
No, it's stark. But I'm absolutely delighted, over the moon. And every objective that Neil Lennon has been set at the start of the season, he's passed with flying colours. You know, we're top of the league now, 4 points clear, a game in hand, still in all the cups. And we're through to February, and we're in the last 16 of the Champions League.
Can I ask you both the same question? How many times this week have you found yourself drifting off thinking, this could happen? And you've seen Scott Brown in your head with the European Cup at Wembley going, that's not too far away.
I'll be honest with you, I've been thinking. So on you go, Stephen.
No, we'll be that off.
No, carry on. You were starting there.
No, I just said about for me, it's a Green Brigade smashing down the goals at Wembley, isn't it? That's going to be like an old cat made 77, 78. Wow, man. You know, you look at that shambolic shambles, the best league in the world yesterday. They wonder they can afford all the superstar players. Are these stewards not going to, you know, that Manchester derby, you know? Oh, but no, just hopefully, listen, we've done the really, really hard part now. We're beyond our expectations at the start of the season. As Jason that says now, it's just all about, for me, it's just enjoying it now. And we'll get 3 months to get this league sewn up now, and then we can just get everybody freshened up and back. We've nothing to lose. Let's just get Parkhead full, get the chance up and see what. Obviously, I've loved the second leg at Parkhead, but because we're finished second, that's not going to happen. But we'll wait and see what happens.
I don't know. I don't know whether I'd want the second leg at Parkhead, because when you think about it, the Seville run, we had the second leg away from home nearly all the way. I don't think with the second leg at Parkhead at all. And the run up to Seville, we were away second leg every time. So
that's right. There was Blackburn, there was Liverpool,
Celta Vigo,
aye.
Stuttgart.
That's right. You're right. Aye.
I can't remember about Sedova, and then Boa Vista was away second as well. Aye, so but who knows? See, at the end of the day, I know I keep going on about this different animal pattern. It's sort of that's had its day, but at the end of the day, see a 0-0 at home now in Europe, and then you go away from home. You nick a goal, you know, and nobody will enjoy playing us. But I just hope they're still underestimating us. That's my big hope. I just hope all the big guns that's still in it still underestimate us. But I go slightly against the grain. I know Lenny said in an interview yesterday he wants to avoid Borussia Dortmund and Man United. I'll take Man United all day long. I want to avoid Dortmund.
Dortmund. I think Dortmund is a prize package. They're not anymore. They kind of were though when they came in, but they've got a really strong chance of winning, I think.
I watched them against Bayern Munich a couple of weeks ago. They drew 1-1 in Munich, but they battered them. They were absolutely superb. And I'd take Man United.
Can you imagine the atmosphere in Celtic Park and in Dortmund, though? Those fans and our fans?
Oh, that would be great, but I think they would beat us. You know, so you never know. But it's no fluke that those 3 German teams won their groups respectively. You know, that league's on the rise. And that wasn't a fluke in nature. You know, they manage their clubs well now. They've got the right policy and they've got the right sort of work ethic between them. And obviously they've got some quality players as well. But see when I don't know if it's just me, but see when I look at the 7 teams that we can draw, even the German teams are hard, but none of them look scary. You see, like years ago, you're like, we're out. You know, if you come up against a Chelsea or an Arsenal or whatever years ago, or Man United, you'd be saying, we can't compete with them. This Celtic team in the minute, they've got the belief in them. I think they can compete with anybody.
Well, I think you look at, I mean, obviously you go off tangent a wee bit. I looked at that Manchester United team yesterday and you're like, I think Wanyama would walk into that. You know, gone are the days maybe 10 years ago with the Manchester United team, you know, even their bench would walk into any other English team, and you know that they're paying such a, as you say, Jason, you look at the German fans paying an average of 10 a game. They're paying top wages, they're filling the stadiums, they're everything that every team in Europe should be aspiring to be.
Absolutely. I mean, they obviously changed their model about 10 years ago because a few of the teams are going bankrupt and they were spending the cash as well. But they've got it right, and it's not like the Germans to be efficient and stuff like that. But they've got it right, and that's what we should be aspiring to. Not that muck down in England.
Yeah, right.
But no, bring it on. It's people are saying Malaga for the trip. They'd be a tough task. Paris Saint-Germain, I don't know. Is he Germain that was at Chelsea?
No,
I know Ibrahimovic, but see, the manager, has he got them? They didn't win the league last year, didn't they? No,
Ancelotti's. I listened. I said on the show on Friday, Jason. I listened to Philip Leclerc, the French journalist, and he was saying that the appointment of Ancelotti wasn't popular. They got rid of a very popular man. They lost the league last year, and this season they're coughing and spluttering. I mean, I've seen them a few times, and obviously your man Ibrahimovic is a fantastic big player, but he's got to be in the mood for it. I think they could go over there and smash and grab it, mate. I really do.
And I listened to one of the podcasts Scott done for the temporary stand, and it was, I think, one of his mates, a Paris Saint-Germain fan. I don't know if it was Chuck in Belfast done it. I think it was Chuck maybe. But the temporary stand guy's done a podcast with Parisian that comes to watch Celtic, and he was saying a load of them don't go to the games now. There's been a big infighting between the Paris supporters. I know there was some years ago with them fans of Saint-Germain FC and Racing Club of Paris that formed, and I think they still don't. There's a left wing or right wing of their support, but something's happened that their fans aren't turning up and stuff like that. So, no, that would be all right. I mean, there isn't any of the draws. I mean, you're not getting a deepest, darkest Russian team, that you're travelling. I mean, all the teams would be travelling kind of friendly. It's easy enough to get to Germany for all the fans and for the team, but I know we've played Man United so many times and people are looking for something different, but I genuinely believe we could do it.
So do I. I think we could beat Man United.
I wouldn't.
Can I just, if you don't mind, can I just give my mate out who's a Michael Bublé fan? She's listening to her first show. I've brainwashed another person away from the dark side of mainstream media, and I've got into the Bamport land. So.
Will I start singing in the background?
That's what I was going to say. Does she know Joe's better than the old Mickey boy?
Well, he was looking rough at the weekend on the telly with old Rod Stewart. I have to take that one of the best.
Rod
Can't you carry Sinatra to give me
the title? See while we're still on the Champions League before we go on to discuss the game Saturday, what do you think the pricing structure will be? What do you think for season ticket holders? What do you think Celtic will ask for?
I think maybe hopefully just the same.
You think so? I can't see it. £28 mine's worth each ticket, and then their booking fee was $88 or whatever. I don't know. I could see them going to about 35, even 40. I don't know.
I mean, the thing is, though, Jason, I forgot to highlight it. I mean, I know Paul touched on it on Beyond the Major Weekend. Now, getting into Celtic Park on Wednesday night, with it being all icy, I came out that ground, and obviously I'm up above the Green Brigade. It's pitch black. I'll pay an extra £1 if they give fans decent lighting in it, and there's disabled folk trying to get wheeled out of that area. There was 20 police horses. It was a remake of Braveheart, mate. I was actually in the velodrome for a refreshment before the match. There's a bar in there.
Is there?
Aye, it's $3.50 a Budweiser. The Yellow Birds isn't bad, that, so I had the taxi drivers treating me right at the back of the building. But it's just like a sports centre cafeteria. But it's handy for them.
Aye. See, and another interesting, did you see, what do you think of the Russian support? I thought they were excellent.
Well, for a team who were out of it and they had nothing to play for, fair play to them. They come over in their numbers, didn't they?
Didn't they have to? Joe, you wouldn't have seen this. They had, I don't know, but 2,000 fans or whatever, or there or thereabouts. They sort of filled their away end, right? They had a wee bit in the corner of the main stand as well, but totally filled their away end. And they had a right few nutcases with them as well. I think there was a few arrests when they were sort of rampaging through the Gallagate. I don't know, but every one of them, Joe, was absolutely paralytic drunk. They were rocking. They were all on straight vodka and everything. And then they unfurled this flag at the game, just a big spray painted number, and it just said on it, vodka 3, whiskey 0. And, no, fair play. They made some racket as well, but they looked as if they were right up for a good time. I think they were a bit...
I don't know if you've seen it, Jason. I mean, it's the first I've ever seen it. Even with the Glasgow Derbies, they actually had like 15-foot metal sheeting up to keep them penned in.
Did they?
Queuing up, mate. I've never seen it like my life. I mean, what's going on here? And as I say, they had 20 police officers, females, may I add. It was like hooters and horses. They just charged in if it got naughty, sort of thing after it. But I know they were in the Admiral Bar before the match where Paul had his first boot launch.
Right.
They were in there. I know wee Siobhan, obviously, David Ossey owns a boozer, but Siobhan had tweeted that Radio 5 Live had come in thinking they were going to get the Moscow fans at 5 o'clock, but they were away. But it's been some season. Been walking up, after I left you, I walked up to get a Poke Paul and get my ticket, and there was just little, like, internet band pops, but Russian ones walking about with big, huge cameras and all the best of gear. And I went, you don't walk about the Gallagate with this sort of kit, lads, you'll probably get huggled or beaten off you. But no, it's... As I said in Friday's show, anybody who's missing the Glasgow derbies, when you're getting the atmosphere, the last Barcelona game, the Moscow game, it's obviously, I know there are a few nutters out there, etc., but it's just nice and it's good football and it's everything that's good about the game. You know, there's no naughty singing by any fans, and it's just everybody's there supporting Celtic. I just can't see a negativity about it.
Oh, no, it's excellent. And as you're right, see any team we play, let's see the fans, Joey, any foreign team, every one of them's got a camera with them. You know, because it's something they don't want to miss the moment. You know, we all take it for granted. You know, I've never took a camera at Celtic Park in my life. But all you just see when the walk-ons getting done and all the everyone's like just the cameras click all the time, and they take it all in. And fair play to the Moscow fans. I thought it was really good. I know they were nutters and that, but no, I thought they were excellent.
And in terms of on the park, who do you think stood out? And have a standout player on the night? I thought everybody played. I thought Scott Brown was good.
I thought. Do you know what? I was a bit. See the game, see their goal. I thought Ambrose was terrible. Twice he got robbed of the ball.
I texted Harper about that. I says, Ambrose not having a great night. He goes, you're watching a different game than me.
What? If it wasn't for Ambrose, we probably wouldn't have let it go. And the boy finished it well, but he lost the ball in the middle of the park, and then he got back and had a chance to redeem himself and sort of half-hearted. But apart from it, but to be fair, he's been excellent.
Oh, I
so I'm not one to down cry the lad. You know, he's been good.
In that game, he was having his troubles with your man Emenenke. You know,
aye, he's a good player. But
I thought, obviously, I jumped ahead of myself here, but I thought the African contingent, especially on Saturday, though, what they bring is when Ambrose, in European football, you're matching up with players if you're playing zone or man marking. When Ambrose goes beyond his remit of defending, and when he goes into the midfield, nobody knows to pick him up.
Yeah.
He can hit the ball, he can dribble about. So I'd like to propose a new T-shirt for Hail Media: Lassad, Wanyama, and Ambrose. I want a T-shirt, the African Fenian Foreign Legion. Get Gaffney on it, and we'll go to Wembley with it.
African Fenian Foreign
Legion.
AFFL.
No, my man of the match was...
What's your logo going to be?
Just the three of them on the front, like the Black Panther. Fists in the air.
Right. What are you going to say there?
No, my man of the match was... like I said Friday, my man of the match was Scott Brown up till I got home. And I seen the fact that the last kick of the ball, Gary Hooper was in the corner. When you've got a striker right in the corner of your own area sort of defending it, that's what gets you into the last 16. So I'll give it to Hooper, as daft as that sounds.
Aye, for his strike as well, the way he's took that goal. That was class. I know lately he's been off form a wee bit, but nah, that was absolutely class. I mean, I think the guy is absolutely class, you know. And no, he deserved his goal. And to score, that's when you're playing against that type of opposition, you're playing in that type of competition, you're not going to get many chances. So when something presents itself like that, it's imperative you take it, and we couldn't have asked for any more.
Yeah,
you know, and that's how these teams. How many times have we been done with teams in Europe? They have like 2 chances and they score with both of them. You know, and we are looking as if we are sort of clinical enough to deal with things like that and actually take our chances when they come to us. The big Samaras as well. I mean, how good is he in that stage?
He's been from top. Do you remember, like, people always look back at Bobby Pettit and say, there's a guy who was turned around, right? Samaras has just superseded everything Bobby Pettit did. Bobby Pettit had one good year, I think.
Right? He played good against Ajax.
Samaras has gone from being a guy who was getting cheered off the park, right, to a fella who's scoring. Right, he's 5 goals in that Champions League.
I mean, if he's not in the first 11, you, as a fan base, I think you look for his name in the start 11.
Exactly. When he does come on, when he does play, he's a real handful for anybody.
Oh, totally, because he's that big. He's got good feet.
Yeah.
He's got a turn of pace, and he's very, very awkward. So he must be an absolute nightmare to defend.
And he seems like he's quite strong as well. I mean, he seems he can push players off easily enough. You know, he's also got that ability to go down like a fruit. You know what I mean?
And I was going to say, it doesn't go down easy. But see, at the end of the day, that's what you need to play against these teams. How many times have Celtic been done in the past in Europe? We've been gallant football players and no doing what the Latins do and stuff like that.
Aye, exactly.
They days are gone. You can't beat them, join them.
Exactly. Right, we'll move on to domestic form in Saturday's game against Kilmarnock. Domestic form, obviously, lately has been patchy, we'll say that, just to say the least. Right. So on Saturday, I think everybody was wanting to see a real performance. I think it's exactly what we got. We got a real performance, and Neil Lennon said it himself. They looked like a Champions League team out there, and they did. They were a class above Kilmarnock, you know. I thought Adam Matthews was absolutely sensational myself. I thought he was just absolutely brilliant. Anybody else got any thoughts I want to throw in there?
Well, he was my man in the match as well, Joe. I said that on the net. Matthews was absolutely superb. And how much better are Celtic when you've got somebody hitting this byline and delivering balls in, and we Strachan hit the nail on the head. He's like, ordinary players can deliver like ordinary balls into the box, and sometimes they get some, but he says excellent players can put it. I mean, that Samaras goal at the end, you couldn't have got a better ball in the box for Big Sammy just to nod it home.
And when you seen the replay of him running, you could see his head up, head down, head up, head down, and bang, that was it. Perfectly knew where it was going.
Aye. Well, he set 2 of them up, didn't he?
Aye.
And then the other one, it was it? Who was the cutback? Was it Brown? Didn't he be cutback?
Aye, Brown got the cutback. Aye.
Brown was excellent as well, and then he's looking as if he doesn't even need an operation. He's looking as if he's like full fitness now.
And there's me saying the other week, Brown's slowing down. What do I know? I'm talking about pace.
I thought obviously Matthews was outstanding, but Brown was just my man in the match for me, because you've seen it yourself, lads. There's obviously an agenda in any team that he's a crazy horse, isn't it? I mean, he's no Twitter accounts out of this world.
That's brilliant.
But the way the teams have niggles at him and they have the slide kicks at them, and no, the ref's not going to do anything about it. But no, I mean the whole performance. I mean the third goal, it was like Brazil 70, wasn't it? They just steamrolled over Kilmarnock.
Yeah, 22 passes, I think it says. And but I thought the way the team set it, and it's with Aguirre and Matthews, you're looking as if, I mean, we're at our best when we've got our fullbacks bombing up and down, and the way they set the team out, it was there. But I think Lassad looked
he looks
pretty
a real
good.
deal.
Aye, he looked pretty good with Hooper. He's good feet.
He does have good
feet. Aye. And it was funny, I know the rumours we were hearing that Mickey was off and that, and then they bring him on in 82 minutes.
Eddie Munster? Brought Eddie Munster on? He looks like.
So, do you think that was a load of rubbish that he's going to leave, or why would they know?
Paul said that afterwards, I think Paul said in the Beyond the Wave show at the weekend that the fact that Lennon had a meeting with them and they'd say, right, we're going to get another goal. You know, I mean, hopefully now there'll be a chance for him to get a run of games. You know, I mean, technically his goal with Dundee United was excellent. Yeah. We've got time and we can bed these players in. To me, the very interesting thing was, I mean, I'm mad with the rumours, etc. And I looked at the BBC rumour page on Sunday morning, and every other story is get Celtic players. Michael Lustig's gone to Russia, blah blah blah. Hooper's gone, Samaras is gone, and I know it might take the edge off it, and hopefully Lennon doesn't read the papers. But good news or bad news, we're in every paper. You know, we don't have to rely on our comics, mainstream media to hide all our achievements. We English people's take notes, you know.
Well, put it this way, you're big Samaras, but they're linking him with Liverpool. What the hell does he want to go there for? You know, if a guy's... I mean, at the end of the day, he must have took a massive wage cut to leave Man City to come to us. And he's this sort of talisman for us now. And see, when he gets interviewed, I mean, I must admit, he's totally transformed me, because I called him the useless genius for years. You know, he would turn it on 1 game out of 10, and he was unplayable. But the other 9, he was just rank. But see, now he's got he believes it himself. But see his interviews, and how cool does it come across? You know, and he never takes any credit for anything. He's always like, when we have amazing results, he keeps his head in the, you know what I mean? He keeps a cool head, and then when we have terrible results, he doesn't go overboard and getting worried about it.
I mean, there's a guy who's handled everything Celtic supporters have thrown at him. Like, I mean,
I know.
I can't remember a guy getting that much abuse ever. I mean, who was the last person you think, apart from obviously Mo Johnson? Like, but I mean, who do you think of, like, a player that just wasn't that good? The fans just had to get on their back, because it's always someone.
Reggie Blinker. Oh.
Reggie Stinker. I actually know a guy. I know a guy who was playing for Dundee United at that time, and he says playing against Reggie was a cinch. He says Reggie was woeful.
Aye.
I remember Reggie Blinker's first game for Sheffield Wednesday when he scored 2 against Arsenal, and that was all he ever did in football. And that to me was the biggest kick in the balls when the Canny went to England. I went, oh, fair enough. And they went, oh, part of the deal, you're getting Reggie Blinker. I just sat in a corner and cried for a week, you know. Oh.
I tell you, see that time, I think it was around about that time when he was playing with Sheffield Wednesday, or it might have, God rest Phil O'Donnell, him and Simon Donnelly.
That's right,
I had a drink with them one night, and they were playing with Sheffield Wednesday, and they were telling us that there was Kim Wonk or some a Dutch guy, Wim Jonk or something.
Yes, Wim Jonk.
Wim Jonk, and then there was a few Germans played with him. And they say, see out the squad of players, they'd all been signed for big money. There was like 3 camps in the team. You know, they're like British and Irish-based guys. You had the Dutch, and then you had the Germans, and they didn't talk to each other. And they're out playing, and these fans are paying top dollar to go and watch them. And the players weren't even talking to each other. They had a Christmas night out, or they had a night out, a team bonding one, and only 5 of them turned up. You know, and these fans are like, obviously they're paying top dollar to go and watch their football team. These people are earning, they'd have been on 30, 40 grand and stuff like that.
That was back in the good days, you know what I mean? The early days. No matter how good you were, you still got paid a fortune.
Remember that Belgian striker that was going to sign for Tommy Burns, God rest his soul, Mark whatever, and Mark B something ended up going to Sheffield Wednesday. Remember he went,
it was your man.
To Sheffield Wednesday, they're a bigger club, and I just shook my head at that, you know.
Was it your man Gilles de Bilde? No?
No, Mark something, I can't even remember the guy's name. Mark did something. Tony Cassidy will know. Tony will put the name up in a second, no doubt.
Aye. But it's when you think back to the days, but as I say, any Celtic player that's thinking about, I mean, your guys like Hooper, he'll have aspirations to play in England, no doubt about it. Big Fraser Foster, he'll have aspirations to play in England, that's a certainty. Wanyama, he's got aspirations to play at the top. You come to the transfer window this winter, would any of them want to leave? Would you want to leave if you were in their position?
If you had any hunger for football and any sort of, you know, personal goals as a sportsman, as an athlete, which I think this team do. I think they're young and they're hungry. They don't seem like they're in it for the cash. I think there's nowhere you want to go. You want to see this out to the very end. You want to win all these trophies, and you want to see how far you can get the Champions League. Because I mean, people are saying that Celtic have played above themselves and they've done things nobody expected. But I'll tell you what, they've deserved everything they've got. I mean, they've earned it, right? I mean, so. Next up is a knockout stage, and anything can happen. I think after Christmas, if they're all still there, I think Neil Lennon's got a really, really strong bond there to say to them, listen, you can leave in the summer. People are going to want you, but let's see how far we can take this, you know? Can you become legends? Because to be honest with you, at this stage, anything can happen.
And these, like Samaras, for example, I mean, you're saying to yourself, right, for your Gary Hooper and whatever, if Man United come in for him, fair enough. You can understand. He's maybe going to say, well, maybe not got another crack at this.
Yeah.
You know, that's fair enough. But if like an Aston Villa comes in for him, or I mean, Aston Villa's a big club, but if like a Southampton come back in for them, or like a West Ham United, or these teams that are never going to be in with the cream of Europe, you know, they're always going to be flirting relegation at the most middle of the road English Premiership teams, you're not going to get a run in Europe, but you're going to earn a fortune with them.
You're probably looking at a League Cup final in 2 years, maybe.
Aye. But Samaras, you're saying to yourself, right, okay, if a top-notch English team comes in, Man United, Man City, well, he left Man City to come to us.
Oh, he was playing in the best league in the world.
So he's been there. So what would his motivation be? What would his motivation be to go to Liverpool, who are, we've got more chance of winning the English Premiership than them?
The only way I see Sammy going to Liverpool is if he gets a call from the Greek Prime Minister saying, listen, we need somebody to bankroll this country. Can you go and say for Liverpool for 200 grand a week and give us half your wages every week?
To me, as I say, I mentioned it in the Aussie show a couple of weeks ago, the best comment, and it's this guy, Philip Leclerc, again, I follow him on Twitter, half his tweets in French, I can't read them obviously, but he said an interesting point after Wanyama's performance against Barcelona at Celtic Park, and he said, well, before, and Gabriel Clark and Strachan in the studio, and he says, before the game, Wanyama's looking at moving to a top English club, and then he just came out and says, after that performance, he's going to a big team in Europe now. And for a journalist who specialises in all European football, he's got no agenda. For him to say Wanyama's above the English league, because there's no a team for me that Wanyama in England couldn't walk into.
Oh, but there's not a team in the world Wanyama couldn't walk into. I mean, 22 years old to have that ability, and have that sort of calm and level of head is just. I don't think I've seen a player like that since, Patrick Vieira or something. Even though Patrick Vieira was a bit more hot-headed. But I was going to make a point there, and I completely went off the point. I don't know what I'm talking about now.
I think Wanyama, he's in that bracket. He's in the Roy Keane, the Vieira bracket for me, and people think you're maybe getting carried away, but I actually don't. I think he's that good. But see, an interesting, somebody posted it somewhere, but I don't know, I can't remember where I read it or whatever, but they were talking to some Russians in the way up. But see the danger, man, that all these foreign opposition that come and play us, it is Samaras. Samaras is the guy they fear. It's no Wanyama, it's Samaras. He's the guy that they know could hurt them.
So he was always. I remember he was. Samaras played with Heverin in the Netherlands, and Arsene Wenger was going to buy him, and Wenger went in for £2 million and was rebooked, saying no. And old crazy horse Stuart Pearce just came out for Man City and says, "I'll give you £6 million," and Wenger went, "I'm not paying that for him." Obviously, Wenger seen him as maybe a long-term project, as Wenger does with a lot of his personnel. But no, I mean, it's nice to see for Sammy. It's a wee bit of. And old Davey, the boy that sits beside me, he's like a cash and carry Afghan. Like, he just couldn't. You said his name and he took a nosebleed, and even he's doing the huddle now saying his name. Long may it continue.
Brilliant.
Right.
But it is frustrating after all this. Celtic and Scottish football still seem to be like a sort of shop window for players that might be good. I think we've got some great players there, already. But it's still that sort of, they are playing for Celtic. Well, my bollocks, they beat Barcelona in the last 16 in the Champions League. It's got nothing to do with, Scottish football. These players are actually bonded well together, and they're seriously talented, and I think they're going to. I have a firm belief that something major will happen in the last 16.
Well, that's. On you go, Jason. Sorry.
No, carry on, mate.
No, all I'd say is there's a vanity with football players, and if you like to say, obviously we've got to wait till December the 20th to see who we're going to get, and every one of the players will know. They could probably get a move to England, and if the right money's there, and Peter Lawwell, they can't knock back crazy money if it comes in. But from a vanity point of view, these guys can say, wow, when's the chances, even if they go to England, what's the chances that any of them ever playing in that standard of football ever again?
Yeah.
Okay, absolutely. And I'm a Celtic fan, obviously, here, but you'd be dragging me kicking and screaming away for that team at the minute. You just... me personally, how much are you looking forward to Christmas and stuff like that?
Yep.
Just simple things that you wake up with, Lauren, we're still in this Champions League. And I know I've been on record saying I hate the full concept of it, and I do, but it is the only show in town and you need to be involved in it. And it's brilliant now, and just for Celtic, it's absolutely amazing. And end of this in a downer about anything. A couple of weeks ago, some of these sweetie wives on these websites now moaning about Neil Lennon and stuff like that, and you just think now, he's all right. We've not performed the way we should have, maybe in certain SPL games, especially at home. But such is life. I'll put up with that for what we're getting on the other side.
I mean, that thing I sent you the link for, obviously you'd already seen it, the Eurofan link about the lad getting a ticket and going to Celtic Park and been doing the Gallagate before. I just thought that was brilliant.
It was great. Did you see it, Joe?
I didn't see it. What is it? Send it to me. What is it?
I'll send it to you on WhatsApp. But it's a guy, is it called the Eurofan?
He goes round all various grounds in Europe and he turns up without a ticket and he appeared on radio sort of thing and went, right, I'm up here, I want to go to the game. And it just shows you him networking that day. He has a deep-fried Mars bar, he goes down the Gallagate, he's in Birds, he's in the Hoops bar, and there's nothing nasty about it. It's just Celtic fans, he's near the Green Brigade for the game, and it shows you, and it, to me, it just summed up the other night, if you couldn't have been there, and this guy's a neutral, and it's going to be popular, and it's one of the best advertisements I've seen for the club that doesn't involve Celtic.
It's nothing to do with the club. They didn't get my ticket or anything. He went on real radio and sort of heard himself and says, he can end up get me a ticket for the game. And then people phoned up, got his number, and eventually a bit of jump. You watch the video, mate. It's really good, and it takes you into the game. And I had a wee tear in my eye. See when the first goal went in, you're watching it. It's absolutely brilliant. Linda, there's my wife's just come in. She's freezing and put her hands on my face. But it's absolutely brilliant. I love stuff like that. See guys going to, I've done all that kind of stuff myself. Going to watch Athletic Club on the Basque Country and things like that.
Have you ever seen RTE did a great show a couple of years back? I think it was 5 or 6 years ago, and it was your man Ardal O'Hanlon. The guy that played Father Dougal and Father Ted.
Aye.
He did a thing on football rivalries. He went all around the world. He went to Poland. He went to the Legia Warsaw, the Warsaw Derby. He went to Barcelona. He went to Istanbul. It was brilliant. So it was very, 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 very interesting. Because he went to meet, the top of both sides,
Aye, I never seen it. I take it didn't go to the Glasgow one because he didn't be welcome in one half.
I seen him being interviewed, and he said that he thought it had been done already.
Aye. I don't think an Irish guy for the Free State heading there ever get welcomed to open hands on one half of the ride.
So, the team performance on Saturday, let's get back to that for a second. I thought they looked really, really crisp, really, really sharp, and I was surprised because, the past couple of, maybe past month and a half, I've been used to sort of seeing them be lackluster after Europe. But this was like a real refreshing display, I thought.
It was. I thought that myself. I thought Lasad looked very tasty at the start. But then the second half, I thought we were outstanding, absolutely outstanding. But no, it was the first goal, Bruni. It was sort of excellent. It was as if all right, we've had enough messing about now. Just let's get a goal in and let's start motoring.
Yeah.
But great ball in for Matthews, and then Bruni just left footed it, and it was a great strike. And their goalie could maybe have done better, but as long as you get them in target, you hit them fast, and it's hard for the keeper to save. And then we just went on from strength to strength, and. Yep, happy days.
I think certainly for me, obviously, I've heard you guys talking about it when I first listened to the show, and that about the progression in the UEFA Cup last year and this year, and it's getting the Celtic players just to a higher standard of the opponent. So you could see the way they were one touch bang the balls away. They were running at such a high tempo on Saturday in the second half, and I think, me personally, maybe sometimes Neil Lennon will go out and say, like, what formation are they going to put up against us today? It's all about, if Celtic go out like that, like we did when we won the league down Kilmarnock last year, if we go out playing football the way we can in a safe way, we can beat anybody in the day, I think, if we're up for it.
Yeah.
And I think the way teams set up against us is maybe working when we're better away from home at the minute, because when they play us in their own patch, they tend to open up a bit more. When they come to Parkhead, it's a rigid formation, no giving it, and then we're finding it hard to break them down, but that's our own prerogative. We've got to go over that. But I think when we go away from home, especially see teams like Hearts, their fans don't let them sit back. They wouldn't put up with them putting 10 men behind the ball at home against us. So they open up and we can rip them apart. And Kilmarnock, it's wee Strachan. I don't know if you heard it, Joe, over in Ireland, but wee Strachan was absolutely brilliant. Talking about the park, the playing surface, and you can always play down there. And I can mind back about 10 years, we struggled down there for a wee bit. That was a place where we had sort of tough times, but lately, it's been a happy hunting ground for us.
Do you not think, it might be me just chasing, but MD, that listens in. How bad is that Stephen Craigan's face every time Celtic win a game? He just sits in that studio, doesn't he, as if he's being told he's getting a clap or something. He just sits in his shoes. He doesn't want to interact with anybody.
He's certainly no our side of the fence anyway, I wouldn't think. And he doesn't shut up either. He would do your nothing. Is Burley mellowed to you, or is he still?
I think Burley's mellowed a wee bit, actually.
I do. I'm frightened to say it. Well, I've said it now.
I mean, I've seen him. He's done a few articles and a few broadsheets, and obviously he's one of the ESPN main players, and he does Italian games now, and he does English games. So I suppose he's worked his ticket, and he's talked enough shite to get himself into a pivotal position, so he can take his foot off the gas, and he's not got an agenda now, sort of thing. Whereas Craig, and I don't know, he's like Pac-Man and cocaine, that guy. I thought I could talk to you and listen to him, you know. That's the way I used to talk like when I was on the bevy, so don't never give me any scoops, I tell you.
On the bevy? I was with you before the game on Wednesday night, you never shut up.
Oh, I'm talking with a lala.
They Scousers had the earplugs in. He's getting to tell us every seafaring story he's had. That's brilliant.
Uncle Albert.
Oh, magic,
I'm ready for Paris.
Absolutely magic. No, so, what's it? Is it the 12th of... What day? No, the 12th's a home game, isn't it? 12th of February.
Have a look.
So, mate,
I think that's a home game in about... Is it a week or 2 weeks? I don't know. We'll find out near the time.
It's usually 2 weeks, isn't it? Champions League.
Aye. Because I'm getting a night, my mates for the Basque Country are all coming over. I think it's Dundee home game, 23rd. Going to put a wee night on in the town. So, Joe, if you and Harper can make it out of excellent.
Nice.
And the parrot, you're obviously invited, mate. Get a band on and stuff like that.
That'll be magic, mate.
Parrot's going to be doing tapas, no?
There'll be a full battalion, Pinchos as their Basque. There'll be a full battalion for the Basque Country coming over, so we'll have put on a wee night for them. They always put the red carpet on for us when we go over there, so we need to return the favour. So we'll get a wee night on for them after the game. There's a load to put their name down already, so and I'll get a couple of wee special guests at it as well. So it should be a good night.
Happy days.
I'll let you know near the time. I've said to Harper, so I think it's the 20th. The boys for Bilbao are going to confirm in the next week. I think it's going to be the 23rd. 23rd of February, and they're coming over for a Dundee game.
Tony Cassidy saying someone's had a word with Burley, no doubt. I think Burley's just seen what happened to all the other shite talkers in Scotland. You know what I mean? The likes of your man Jim Traynor. You know what I mean? I think he's seen what's happened to those guys, and he's like, right, I better clean my act up. I'm going to wind up as being hung.
What was it? Somebody came out in one of the papers, somebody was telling us a death, and it was hilarious. Now they're always going on about attendances and stuff like that, world records and whatever. Somebody says attendances. Somebody said in one of the papers or whatever, he says, they ain't going on about attendances. He says, that's boasting you're the best dressed guy in Albania.
Well, brilliant. They've got a porter cabin for a ticket office, and we've got the UEFA Champions League motors and tents outside the front of Parkhead. We're allegedly the beggars of the city. Get it right up them.
Okay.
HomeBhoys.
I don't even know what they're up to. I didn't even know they were playing the other day until I turned the radio on. I didn't know it was Sunday. I don't know who they play or when they play.
No.
They just don't affect my timeline anymore.
I was flicking through channels the other day. I was kind of just hoovering, and it happened to be on. So the other week, it happened to be on. I just stuck it on to see, and after 5 minutes, I was like, why am I even watching this? Why am I? This isn't a good football match, and I've got no interest. I mean,
do you know one thing I was going to mention, Joe? I forgot to actually bring it up. The Movember, obviously, the three of us were involved in it, and the HomeBhoys team. So just say a big thanks to everybody out there that gave us a wee donation,
yes,
and to everybody that took part in it. And the team raised a grand total of 1,517 quid for men's cancer charities.
Nice one.
So that was us just having a wee blether about it beforehand. Says, why don't we do something? So next year, do it again. Try and get a bit more traction to it, and see if we can beat the total. But there was 17 members in the team. 1, 2, 3, 4. Absolutely hee-haw. So they must have chucked it. But so between 13 is we get 1,517 quid, which I thought was excellent.
That's pretty. That's good going. That's good going.
Aye. So a big thanks to everybody that donated and everybody that wore the Mauser for the month of November. So I forgot to say in the last show, just a big thanks to everybody, and that was well appreciated.
Mine kind of got long towards the end. You know what I mean? Like the night of the book launch. You know what I mean? It was just all the spew was catching in the moustache.
And it's one of the ones. Do you trim it, or I wouldn't know what to do with it.
I don't know.
See, when you get nearer at the end of the month, it's like coming over your lip and stuff.
I don't know what it is. I just inclined to lick it. You know what I mean? When people look at you like you go, what
my face still looked like my Holy Communion photos. I couldn't grow nothing. That was the worst month of my life. Oh, it was not a good cause, fair play. I was in sympathy for these. On my 2 years, I was having to do a bit of Uncle Albert splicing on my face to get the 2 hairs to look a bit more impressive. The cash and carry effort, I tell you.
And out in Lisbon, there was a good few comrades over in Lisbon where had the old Mausers. They Portuguese must be looking saying, what's this fashion over there?
The village people must be back in fashion back in the city.
There was a few. And I made a good laugh in the boozer the night before the game because it was the right teammates in my Mausers. It was good.
Probably looked like the inside of that I call that club and police academy. The Blue Oyster.
I know, it was excellent. As I say, all for a good cause and just to get a daft mess of your face, but it was all a good laugh.
Do you know I was going to say, do you know what it was good to see last week? I love seeing Dermot Desmond come on and speak to Sky Sports about Neil Lennon. I thought that was a great touch. Like,
did he? I didn't hear that. What was he saying?
He come on, he just talked about it. He said Neil Lennon's a manager that's going places. He's done great things here at the club. We're all behind him. But it was great to see him on, he did the usual stuff. But it was great to see him on Sky Sports, like, and at the game talking about Neil Lennon, you know what I mean? Because people are always complaining that he's never there or whatever. So it was a nice touch,
Can I just go back though? I mean, after the European game, my personal favourite, Hugh McIlvanney, the Scottish writer who writes for English Sunday Times, he put a wee clip in about Celtic yesterday and he says, the reigning Scottish champions who gained a meagre £2 million from broadcast revenues last season, but magnificently succeeded in outperforming Manchester City and Chelsea in the UEFA Champions League. So that was nice to see in an English broadsheet, a journalist, obviously Celtic-minded the fella, but it's nice to see we don't have to depend on our ex-trainer publications up here writing anything about us.
I seen ITV Football as well on Twitter. Sort of Megan mentioned the fact that they wrote Celtic off.
I didn't know that until obviously people were retweeting it and stuff. I didn't know they came out and said that. But it's they don't take us serious at all. They just don't. We're just a wee crappy team for a wee crappy league. When at the end of the day, let them think that. I think that could be our biggest weapon. Yeah. And just hopefully out with these shores, that nobody's taking it serious still. We're the joke team. And bring it on, because you're one teams to come to Celtic Park and underestimate us because they've been for one shock. I still think deep down if Man United were to draw us, they would fully expect to cuff us. And yeah, bring it on.
But the thing is that I love the talk before every game we play against a big team. The talk was even by the opposing players. It's like, well, the fans and the atmosphere. Don't get me wrong, the fans and the atmosphere, I mean, the players have said it themselves, do give them an extra boost. But these players are good enough to beat these teams anyway.
Aye, because we've got some quality players in our team. Don't get me wrong, for us to beat the teams that we could possibly draw in this Champions League, we need the vast majority of our team to be playing at the top of their game. Yeah. If we've got 2-3 players well below par in that game and liable to make the odd mistake, we're going to get punished. But I don't know. I've got a wee daft feeling. I don't know. And is anything to think about booking one of these free cancellation hotels in London? I don't know.
Well, I've got family that live in London that stay up in Tufnell Park. You've got a rolling sausage and a can of lager in the morning, but you can keep in the flare and they're invited.
I've got a good few mates that Melbourne. I mind just booking.
My wife's sister lives in London, so I'd be staying there. I live in a big Asian community, so I'd be shaking myself all week. Are we still there? Hello?
I'm still here, mate. Aye.
Is Jason gone?
No, he's still on.
Sure? I was lost.
His face is still on the screen.
Jason, are you there? He's gone. He's gone.
Don't know if the boss. He's just
somebody's cut his phone line. Got a feeling Mrs. Higgins is standing in the corner with a butcher knife for just two ends of a phone line going, podcast my hours.
So who talked to you, mate? Did you have a good Sunday afternoon out in the big city? Throwing up now before you flew back to Ireland,
It did, actually. It was good fun. Harper was in a mess. Because
I know the Chief, did he still have the lumberjack shirt on?
no, I can't remember. Had he changed? I don't know. I didn't pay attention to his threads. But he was complaining because we had to walk from the hotel to the toll booth to get a drink.
Where did he stay? Down at the Clydeside, yeah?
We stayed in Jury's.
That's not a bad walk. It's like a 10-minute walk.
Exactly. That's what I was telling him. But yeah, once I got on the pub, he was dead on for the day. But I had a good crack. Jason invited us out to his house, but and I was all for going, but Harper couldn't do it, so I had to mind Harper for the day. It's good fun though. I had great crack the whole weekend. I think the problem was I got absolutely paged on Friday night. Not like by design. I just got paged because I started drinking wine and somebody called into the house. Then it was 2:00 in the morning. So I meant to get up at 6. I missed the bus. I had to pay 30 quid to get a taxi. I was steaming when I arrived at the airport. Running around looking for Harper. And the security was packed, so I just started talking. Spotted this old couple, and I was like, right, they'll let me in. If I just charm them, they'll let me in through security, and away I go. So, I mean, I think my stomach was struggling for most of that Saturday. I think that's why I was spewing. That's my excuse. That's what I'm going with.
As long as you don't blame the Portuguese Charlie Green you had, we're fine.
No. Some of that food was hot. Hey.
That was the medium sauce I did as well. I didn't even go hot.
Jesus, here. Hold on a second. I'll try and ring him back. We've lost him. He's disappeared. And it's quality entertainment, folks. This is exactly what I'd say pay for. You don't pay for anything. It's free. But this is what you tune in for.
Cash and carry radio.
That's it. Cash and carry. It's like that time in the Oscars when Billy Joel stopped singing. Just to waste advertising time.
I've just seen in the chat room where there's a wee interlude. Willie Keane is looking for 2 spare tickets for the Hibs game on the 29th.
Let's put that word out there.
He's just put in the chat room. I've just noticed it there.
Okay, Willie Keane wants 2 tickets for Hibs.
Aye. Or Celtic Hibs, whenever that is. 29th or something, December. Don't know.
You back?
Hello, I'm internet crashed there.
We were just joking, saying that Linda was standing on the corner with 2 ends of the phone line, just going, "Oh, I podcast my hole."
That's a bit rough, is it? No. Aye, sorry about that. I'm internet crashed, so I was talking to you to start with, and then I was just kept talking to myself. So
it's terrible when that happens, isn't it?
No, absolutely brutal.
I'm well used to that. Any other topics you want to bring up? I want to bring anything up.
Next 2 games at home. Well, obviously Wednesday night we're away to Arbroath. So how do you think that'll go?
Hopefully we'll stuff them.
I would think so. You going up, Stephen?
I'm waiting on word if I'm going up. I know it's going to be live in the telly though. The boys in the bus have sort of says there might be a ticket for us, pal. So I'm just waiting on word for it. You know.
How far away is it?
It's not exactly for them. Does they know it's the stadium built right on the cliff face, isn't it?
How far? I've never been into it. How far north of Dundee is it?
Yeah, maybe about 20-25 minutes, mate.
All right.
But it's right on a cliff face. So I was up there in the summertime, mate, and obviously I've been to old Uncle Albert. I've been in some cold places in the world, and I just went, Jesus, this is a cold place. So Andy, if you've been up there and you've never been before, it's home of the Royal Marine Commando training establishment as well. So half the town's mad fishermen and smokies, the old kipper smokers, and the other half have got no head and green berries and roll about with everybody. So just get up there, get the game and come back down the road. Don't hang about.
Aye.
Jesus, be kidnapped by a Marine? That's what happened. It's rough up there.
I was going to say I think there's tickets gone, but they're all away. I've just checked the thread on for the Cavey 7-1 busted seats and tickets, mate. If I'd been earlier, they got you when they pick up at Charing Cross, but they're all away. Sorry. I can't make Wednesday night. I can't wait. I'm working, but to be fair, I probably wouldn't go. My next away game will be Boxing Day. I'm going to be day out. Me and a few of the boys we're up to Dundee in Boxing Day. I'm looking forward to that. I'll be a bit of tear up.
Boxing Day football.
I think bus is leaving at 3 o'clock.
Boxing Day football is fantastic. I love Boxing Day football.
Be fair play, the bigger picture though of Scottish football, it was good to see the Dundee derby sold out the weekend at all. I mean, this Armageddon, why are they reconstructing the league when it's running perfectly?
I know.
I watched some of that. It was very, very good. Like, I mean, the place seemed packed as well.
But Dundee United a tricolour hitting the goal, did they?
I've actually seen that myself. Actually, I did.
What was that all about? I think there's a few Irish players into Willow Flood. Does he still play with them?
He does.
He does, aye.
Nice to see them remembering their roots. So I think Dundee, I think they've been shafted a few times against them. They get the boy sent off the first derby, and then I think they had a Stonewall penalty. That one there never gave, but they always get the rough end of the stick against United. They absolutely thumped them.
Somebody's calling in. We got a caller coming in. Hello, Brendan Tehan.
How you doing, Joe?
Not too bad, man. How you doing? How's things?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good.
What did you want to talk about, Brendan?
You probably already covered it, actually. Obviously, last Wednesday's game and followed by Saturday's game at Kilmarnock. I thought the team were excellent. After last week's game against Spartak, I worked with a Chelsea fan and a Liverpool fan. And always give me a stick about Mickey Mouse football, etc., etc. Thursday morning, nothing. Absolutely nothing. They thought we were going to get knocked out. Thought Benfica would beat Barcelona. And thought we'd get a point at our place. So I stuck it right up a Chelsea fan especially.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. It's always good to hear somebody going to work and just having a reason to bust somebody's balls all day.
Well, exactly. I mean, I've been down here every 30 years, and over the years I've taken lads from Derby up to like what was the Old Firm games. Obviously, they've loved it. But Scottish football overall, they just consider it to be Mickey Mouse. So what Celtic's doing this season in Europe, absolutely superb for me. I'm just sitting there every break time with a big cheesy grin on my face. Last 16, here we come.
Yeah, and who do you want to get, Brenton?
To be honest with you, I'm not bothered. I think I agree with Jason. I think having the first game at home probably suits us because I think we can go away and stick a goal. So if we can get a 1-0 at home or a 0-0, I think we can go away and we can sneak a goal. So I'm not really bothered. Obviously, the German sides are strong, but you got to take who you take, haven't you?
Yeah, that's true.
Yep. Well, what would be the feeling, obviously? Is it Derby you live, Brendan?
Yeah, Derby, yeah.
So you'll have a few Man United fans kicking about there, I take it. See if we draw Man United, how do you think? Do you think they would just think it's a foregone conclusion, they would knock us out?
Oh, definitely. Well, I'm Celtic Derby, my brother's Celtic United, but obviously Celtic first. But yeah, the thing is, it's like you said, Jason, they think we're just to make the numbers up. In Man United, along with like your Cities and your Chelsea, because they've got the money, and obviously there's not a lot of money in Scottish football, they just treat it as Mickey Mouse. They think they walk over the top of us. But a lot of teams will come to Celtic Park over the years and go home with a tail between their legs, so bring it on for me.
Is there a culture of football fans down south, right, that have maybe lost touch with the idea and the aspect of sport and the fact that it's down to the players and management, it's down to the team? Or, I mean, and the fact that they're just so rich and everything goes so well that they just assume that everything's going to work out fine for them?
I think there's definitely a sort of age. There's an age. See any English football fan who are 40 plus. I think a lot of them would have a bit of respect for Celtic because they'll remember. They'll remember back to the days where Scottish teams and English teams were quite evenly matched. Because let's face it, see in the late 70s, early 80s and stuff like that, okay, people went to England for big money in the terms of what it was then. But then when the Sevco started, they started signing up bloody half the English national team, so people were going the other way. But I think a lot of them can maybe look back to before money was king and money was the be-all and end-all, and they can see what certainly Leeds fans and stuff like that, if they go back to like the early 70s when we played them in the European Cup, they'll remember Celtic and what they're capable of. But a lot of the younger ones, they wouldn't give us a second thought.
What is it safe to say?
I don't know. Brendan will know better than me, but I think it's the same in Ireland, though. Is it not the same?
Jason, I think with the inception of Sky, and I mean, I pay Sky, I pay £6-7.50 a month, but I only pay that so I can watch the Celtic games. But since Sky brought the money into the English League, the only reason it's better is because of the money. My argument, always against lads down here, is you put that money into Scottish football and all the best players play in Scotland. So the only reason that it's any better is because of the cash and nothing else.
I just think, see the money. All right, I'll go first.
Well, toss a coin.
See the money. Right, the money is fine. The stuff for Sky and whatever, but it's not even that. It's the debt they've actually got themselves into over and above that. Because the Sky money is, let's face it, for somebody like Man United or whatever, that's buying them one player. You know, it's not even covering their wage bills. It's not. I mean, the debt these clubs are running at and operating at is an absolute scandal. And when you look at the balance sheets of a lot of these clubs, I don't know how they're still trading. You know, because Sky's...
Sorry, Jess, you take Sky away from English football. You take Sky away from English football and it collapses. It's on sand. This recession, I mean, I'm looking, I'll pay $6.50, and the only reason I pay that is to watch the Celts whenever they're on Sky or ESPN. If it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be paying it at all. You only got to get fans to turn off the football down here, and it'll just sink.
For me, I worked with English guys for like 23 years who followed non-league teams who I used to go and see with them, standing in the terrace, and up to Premiership teams, and they used to sort of look at me about the Scottish League, and I'd say, well, Celtic is a football club, and it would be mostly Liverpool fans and Man United fans. I says, the team you don't like, back in the day, I says, the team you don't like playing against are your Wimbledons or your modern day Stokes, who are big, aggressive teams you knock it about. I said, that's what, you might get the odd exception. There might be a manager comes into Scottish football who plays it in the carpet. I said, that's what Celtic's up against every week. We're playing different versions of Wimbledon, and then we've got to swap, as you say, Jason, we've got to become a different animal and then try against teams like Barcelona. So, I mean, you look at a week in English football where Coventry now is going to get liquidated over £1 million, and they don't own their stadium. You know, it's just such, you say, as Brendan says, it's just such a false economy, and is it going to take, I mean, we talked about it the other night in the pub, Jason, if Liverpool hadn't won that European Cup when they did, they'd be in the Championship by now.
What do they aspire to? I mean, I don't know if you listen to it. I done a podcast. Well, you used to. I don't know if you listen to it, Brendan. I done an Everton podcast. Well, my mates for Liverpool, and I asked them the question. I says, so what do you think about this English Premiership? So, being an Everton fan, who are to me one of the top 5 clubs in England, great fan base and stuff like that. But at the start of the season, they know they've got no chance of winning the Premiership. You know, barring a miracle or 20 miracles, they can't win it. And I said to him, how do you feel? But he even said it. He said, I still feel privileged that we're competing at that level. And he says he looks at some of the poor fans of the poorer teams that aren't doing anything in the way, and he says, I still look and say, well, at least we're competing. But that to me would be, I think when you think back to the 70s and 80s at the start of the season, everybody had a feeling this could be our year. You know, this could be our year, put a run together. But now, it's just Man City, Man United, Chelsea, and it's about they 3 teams and nobody else can really win it.
I mean, I feel sorry for young football supporters because it's football by design, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's got to support this team because they're big and successful. It's like, I mean, it's the same thing as watching the X Factor, I suppose. I mean, because it's popular, it's on TV, and it's easy access. We'll go ahead and eat it up. Same with any football team because it's Man City or sure it was Sunderland. It was Sunderland 5-6 years ago. You know what I mean? Especially here in Ireland, it was Sunderland. Sunderland tops everywhere. You couldn't find one now, right?
Aye.
Man City tops and Chelsea tops, and you know what I mean. And it's frustrating. I know it frustrated Harper when Harper first got here because he thought this was going to be just nothing but Celtic tops as far as the eye could see.
Aye.
But it's just not the case.
Yeah. But I think see Scottish football. Sorry, Brendan, but see Scottish football. We're sort of the same as them because it was only us and Sevco for a while there that could win the league. Sorry, us and Rangers that could win the league. So for 20 years, that's all it was. So you can understand Aberdeen, Dundee United, Hearts fans, Hibs fans, totally getting peeved off our product.
Yeah, true. I thought about that.
Sorry, Brendan, what were you going to say, mate?
No, I was just going to say, you look at Chelsea pre-Abramovich, they never won nothing for years. He's come in, he's just shoved money at it. If he took his money out of that club, they're gone, aren't they? And you got what you got is you've got all your fly-by-nights. Whoever wins the league, whether it be Chelsea, same when Blackburn did it, they just jump on the bandwagon. They're not what you call true fans. They just go because it's stylish to support that side that's actually won the league.
Somebody made a good point there the other week. It was you, Jason. You made a good point that some of these lads go to football the same way they go to a West End show.
It's like nice, especially your Chelsea fans and stuff like that. I mean, you're in Derby. I would class Derby a bigger club than Blackburn Rovers. I would class Derby as maybe smaller than Chelsea, but not much smaller. I would class Chelsea the same as West Ham. You know, I would say Spurs and Arsenal are bigger than Chelsea and London. Would you agree with that, Brendan?
Yeah, I mean, the fan base, I've been down here since 76, and obviously I went to school here, so I ended up going and watch the Derby games with my mates. But Derby, I remember watching Derby in the 3rd division, and we were getting 25, 26,000 in the 80s. You know what I mean? I watched them home and away. Derby is a footballing city, that's one thing I'll say about it. They get good crowds, now. And when they're in the Premiership, they sell out for most games. But Derby's got a lot of, like Jason said, a lot of 40-plus fans.
Yeah. So it's a real Derby v Notts Forest, an absolute massive game. Derby v Leicester City. I mean, you're talking about that was the Midlands games like Leicester City, Derby, and things like that. When you look at that, when you go back to the sort of the 80s and the 90s, they were massive games and they were like top flight games. It's just that sort of part of the Midlands is sort of hit a bit of a lull, you know, and it's not so much a hotbed anymore because other places have took over, but make no bones about it, it's an absolute hotbed of football.
Trust me, when the Forest game comes round, all the old faces come out. Trust me, all the old 80s faces come out when the Forest game and the rest of the games come up. It's a throwback, trust me.
I mean, Jason, you support probably your English team in Everton. Probably David Moyes will be the last manager in English football who's given the same respect and time to develop a team like Alex Ferguson did. You look at Wenger's getting chastised at Arsenal now after getting his achievements. I mean, I sat horrified. I watched a wee bit of the Sunday Supplement yesterday morning, and these guys are all broadsheet journalists, and only Patrick Barclay, God bless him, was sticking up for Martin O'Neill. There was guys saying, O'Neill's he's never done much in the game. You think he outwith what he did at Celtic, before that what he did at Leicester City, punching well above his weight. You know, they're so fickle. They were after getting rid of Benitez at Chelsea after one game because they can afford to. When you look at the state of Scottish football, they're still paying Craig Levein £33,000 a month because they can't afford to give him a one-off payment. That's how bad the national game is.
That's just funny. But I mean, we lost Jason, so he's gone again. You still there, Stephen?
I'm still here, mate, aye.
No. We've lost Jason. Not to mention as well, sorry, the Martin O'Neill thing, not to mention what he did at Wickham as well when he first started off as a manager.
Of course, mate, of course. I mean, I don't know, have you seen much of the stuff over there for the fact about Mr. Trainer going to work for Sevco?
I seen that, and somebody posted today on Twitter, it was EFF Fanning, there's Jason back again, and he posted that I don't know who it was that said it wasn't Keevans, it was somebody else. Said taking the microphone after James Trainer was like taking it after Sinatra had sang.
I believe that's. I think it was Keith Jackson. He's puppet at the Daily Ranger. There was a few. Paul was talking about it on Beyond the Waves at the weekend. There was the lad Michael Grant in the Glasgow Herald today done a really good article about it, baffling how the fact that somebody like Trainer, who he said 25 years ago when he was at the Glasgow Herald, was a great journalist. He'd done some great stuff. And then he went to the Express, and then obviously he went to the Record, and he's basically said his appointment is very similar to a public relations pit bull. He's been employed by Charlie Green just to face off any doubters coming up about the share issue. I mean, there's also what a number this is, the 67 Rebels. I don't know if you know about that.
I've heard about it. I only heard this briefly when I got home. I was out shopping in Dublin. I only heard this briefly when I got home.
It broke tonight in the news that there's 67 former players of the club that was Glasgow Rangers, and the Scottish Footballers Association, PFA, has taken them to task over the lack of information that was passed to them when the pantomime was happening. There's also a few of the players, Aluku, Kyle Lafferty, etc., who's actually wanting money off them over it. So there's 67 players got a claim in against the Oco.
Which is not a bad number, that is it?
67 Rebels, aye. But we're saying they were on STV2 News tonight, and they asked the Scottish PFA for a statement over it. And my old pal come up again, the cash and carry Jimmy Hoffa, the ex-Rangers player, Fraser Wishaw, wouldn't make a they wouldn't make a comment on it. So yeah, it's got legs in this one. But the trainer things I think is fascinating. How he's just jumped.
Anybody
he's quite official.
He's not getting paid for his hobby now, isn't he? He's getting paid up front for his hobby.
Did anybody see
the thing about like obviously living in Derby and getting a lot of stuff on the internet and stuff like that? My take on it is the Scottish mainstream media, they need to have Rangers, Sevco, call them what you want. They need them to be alive, because if they're not alive, they die. Your Radio Clyde, your records, your Sunday Mails, they all go tits up.
Yep, totally agree, mate. Totally agree. And they'll keep panning this myth that it's the same club and pander to. I mean, people phone up and say, "Did they die?" Oh, that's your opinion. And no, it's a fact. They're dead. This is a new team. You know that is.
What's the registration number? Just ask them that question. What's the registration number of the company? That's it. Finito.
But this is a company. This is not the club. I mean, they come up with all this stuff, and then it depends. Oh, you're just a bigot and all this. You're like, wait a minute, here, pal.
We're not stupid. You know, we're intelligent people. We know when a club dies or when a company dies. End of.
Aye, because why are they not playing in Europe then? Why did they have to get another you know, all this kind of stuff, and you're just like, wait a minute here, I can be bothered listening to you. They're just insane, and I just can't be bothered. I get cut off there a minute, mate. Where were you going? You were saying something about Notts Forest just when I get cut off. You said when Notts Forest come to Derby or something.
Oh,
like
he
that.
said all the 80-year-olds come out.
Oh, right.
All the 80s lads come out. Trust me, it's a rum day down in Derby or Forest when that game happens.
I'd say there's probably twice as many ambulances that day, is there?
I know they absolutely detest each other. So what was the thing? See, Brian Clough, did that not unite the fans, or did that make the Derby fans?
That made it worse, because obviously, I mean, Cloughie wasn't in charge when I came in '76. It was Dave Mackay.
Right.
But obviously Forest went on to win 2 European Cups, so you got all the bad blood. I mean, that could have been Derby, because Derby in the early 70s had a cracking team, apparently, you know?
Yeah.
So
Farland and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, they were still there when I came in '76, but Tommy Docherty took over and he killed the side. Took him years to recover.
That's right.
I mean, half of that team went to Forest, won the European Cup. Your Archie Gemmels, your John McGoverns and all that. They jumped ship as well, didn't they? That's
right, yeah. A lot of the ex-Derby lads went over there and won the European Cup. Martin O'Neill, of course.
I know. I mean, you think, because Derby are a bigger club than Forest, you know, historically. Forest had never really done nothing until Clough came. And then you're like, my God, I know, unbelievable. But I think everything goes in cycles. I think the time will come when the clubs will rise again, you know, and I think money will end up being a great leveller in football, because it will kill a load of clubs, and I fully believe that. Especially see with the Chelsea fans, the way they were like booing Benitez and stuff like that, and singing Di Matteo and all this kind of stuff. This, to me, I was hoping that would be the straw that broke Abramovich's back. And he
might have walked away and they're going to
and just say, get it right up, I'm off. That would be excellent. That would be absolutely excellent. But no, you never know. You never know what will happen.
I was gutted they won the European Cup in the summer. Absolutely gutted. I couldn't believe. I mean, and the way they won it as well. Wasn't playing beautiful football, was it? Let's be honest.
Fuck, I know. But you see if Celtic played like that, you would say, fair enough. We're playing with 10 million quid's worth of talent on paper against 300 million quid.
Well, exactly. It's all relevant. You have to play with the best thing you've got. But they pay top wages for top players. But the way they won the European Cup, to me, is just anti-football.
Yeah, I know. And there is no excuse for it when they're playing that kind of money. They're paying that kind of money for players, and the way they set up to play, and it would drive. I went to FA Cup game, Everton Chelsea. It was about it was when Damien Duff and I and Robin were playing with Chelsea. It was at Goodison, and I think it was a Saturday afternoon, 3:00 kickoff. So me and a few of the boys drove down, and in England, when it's the FA Cup, they give them more tickets. They give the away team more tickets. So Chelsea had half of the Bullen stand at Goodison running the length of the park, top and bottom tier. They about a third filled it, you know. And that was arguably Chelsea's best ever team in their history. Saturday afternoon at 3:00, and they must have gave them 6,000 tickets, and they must have had about 2,000 fans there. And you just look and say, these are pandering saying they're a big side, a big club. Yeah, just like, how wrong is that? You know, just terrible. You know, teams like Millwall and that would come up and they would sell at their way end.
It's always the case, isn't it? But
I know. They don't deserve it.
Yeah, but is it now that they've been big clubs that have big money and that's it? That's obviously the measuring tool now. You know, I mean, you can bring as many fans as you want, but you're a big club. I mean, Wigan are in the best league in the world. They're a big club, then, are they? I mean,
but you look at how against a team like Man City, though. Look at Man City when they had the Kippax end in the 80s. That was a fantastic atmospheric stadium on Main Road.
That's one of the things about Man City that I always liked, the fact that they were in the second division and they'd have 30,000 fans at the game for second division. I mean,
they're a big club, but see, the thing for me is, see, like your Blackburn Rovers. I mean, the way they treated that Steve Keane, we demand better and stuff like that. You're nothing, pal. Jack Walker bought you the Premier League. He's dead. His money's gone. You're on the way down and you're never coming back again. You know, just find your place in the food chain, and it ain't very high up. Just deal with it.
That was a good line since by chicken farmers.
just before I go, lads, obviously you live in Glasgow. Can you tell me when the trophy gets presented for the world record attendance this season?
Yeah, the attendance cup.
Yeah, the attendance cup.
I think
that's all I ever see on the internet or whatever. We got 49,000. So you get a trophy for that, do you?
Aye, they broke another world record this weekend, seemingly as well. I don't know, they're breaking them every week, but I think somebody put a stat up somewhere and it says attendances through the turnstiles this season, and I think they're at 450 odd thousand. We're at 660,000.
Well, that's odd, isn't it?
Aye, so not that we're bothering about it.
Right, I've got to sign off, folks. I'll talk to you later.
Take it easy, Brendan. Cheers, mate. Hell, take it easy, mate.
Cheers, hell,
mate. Take it easy. Yeah, there's plenty of new Rangers gear in Belfast riots yesterday.
I seen that No Surrender, There's No Limit video. That was genius.
Crazy.
You see that? The women with her face up at the window with the Belfast Town Hall.
I did. I seen her. Shame on you. But the problem is that has actually been the framework for a long, long time. Like, the whole idea was for a shared future. I mean, it's the usual last minute protest. What's going on? We weren't paying attention.
I seen there was a picture released this afternoon which absolutely just horrified me, and it was people protesting over there, and they were holding up a banner in some place called Ballyclare, whatever that is, and the banner said, "Democracy doesn't work."
Aye, you know, Jesus wept. You know, equality's a bad thing. You know,
I tell you what, a mate of mine called Paddy, right, from Poglass, he went on the Facebook, right, and it's called Loyalists Against Democracy, right, but it's spelled DEMOR CY, Demorksy. I think they've spelled right, but he put up a notice saying there was an Andy Town protest going on, and it was happening at the Andy Town Leisure Centre, and everybody should bring their Union Jacks just for the crack, just trying to goad them.
Your friends were over there at the weekend, Jason. Did they get back okay? Well, they're over for the football. Your mates over there for the football.
Where?
They occupied 6. Were they over at Cliftonville or something?
Aye. The Everton boys, they all went to the Cliftonville Coleraine game on Saturday.
At Solitude?
Aye, they took a bus over.
Brilliant.
Aye, they'd said their prayers and that before they went, because they were calling themselves Reds for a day. They says, we don't know how we'll deal with this. But there's 40s of them at the game and that. They flew back Sunday morning for the Spurs game at Goodison. But because a load of the boys from Belfast go over to watch Everton, so they went around and tied up a few of them. Went to a Cliftonville game. They're running away with that league, aren't they?
Aye, that's what it's all about, though. That's what football's all about. You know what I mean? Football fans getting together. I love all that shit. Here, speaking of Spurs, I want to see the other day. Did you ever watch that Man versus Food?
Aye, I do.
Right, see, I found this video on the internet of your man, the host,
Adam Rickman,
gives himself a heart attack on TV every week.
Is that irresponsible TV or what? Let's eat yourself to death.
He's a massive diehard Spurs fan, right?
You're joking.
Huge. There's a video of checking it on YouTube, and he goes to White Hart Lane for the first time, and they bring him out to the stands. He sees the pitch, and he breaks down crying.
Aye.
And he's on the pitch and he can't believe it, and he's wearing the full gear. He's like die-hard Spurs fan since he was a kid.
I've seen there's a picture of him in a Celtic strip as well on Twitter.
Is he?
Once ago.
Is he Jewish, Abba? Is it maybe the old Jewish link with the Spurs?
Possibly, I don't know. Could be.
Aye. Imagine getting him at Parkhead to train the half-time draw and say, right, there's 20 Parkhead pies, eat them. What's the name with some lukewarm ball, bro?
we could get that. We could get that guy on his father does the catering again. Get Adam on.
How many Parkhead pies can you eat?
My mate done 4 at half time once when we were in one of the lounges. I was just like, wee mouse. Brilliant. 4, how could you 4 of them?
You'd have whistled and they'd have came running towards you.
I know. I'm thinking about this when we get the Basque guys here. What can we give them? Because I'm not looking for authentic Basque cuisine. I think it'll be Scottish cuisine, but I'm not going down the fried Mars bar route. I'll get pots of stovies and stuff like that made for them. Haggis.
Haggis is a business, haggis.
Contact, get into the press bar on Albion Street. Vincent in there. He gets his wee pies for Abercrombie Street, a Glasgow pie with hot peas and vinegar on it, mate, and a pint of Belhaven best in the city. I took Larkin in there for his lunch. They had to put nappies on it. It was too rich for him. That East Coast mob wanting salt and sauce and beans and all that. Old Gaffney's lunch, old good boy. I fed Tail Hail Media. That was my warm up for the Bampot buffet. But no, that's I go in there all the time, mate. That's good. Different if you're going to be brewing up that mince and totties like the Parkhead stuff. Get the recipe.
That's what I was going to say. I meant
that was brilliant, wasn't it? That was excellent. That was great, mince and ties. I'll get some Scottish fare for them. So, we'll definitely have a night, have a wee band on and stuff like that. I think the wee brother's looking at a venue in the Tin Centre. The hood's about 80, so watch this space and I'll get the invites. It should be a good night. So try and get yourself there for it, Joe. 23rd of February.
Well, I'm still looking at the St. Paddy's weekend in Galway too.
Aye, let's do it all.
I can't handle it anymore. No, like I know for a fact I can't handle it. I went to bed the other night at like 10 o'clock. I was like, pour my beer in the sink. I was like, I'm getting old. I'm only 33 for Christ's sake. You know what I mean?
And my daughter, it was Ellie's birthday on Saturday, and me and the wee man went up and stayed at my mum's. She had 8 of her friends staying here. Linda and her pal stayed and looked after them. 8 11-year-old girls. I says that's not for me.
I did that. I did that last year for my daughter's birthday too, and I swear to God, never again, man.
Aye.
Never again, because we put them up upstairs in the big room we have upstairs. I didn't get a wink of sleep. I swear they were doing the river dance all night. Fucking, it was a nightmare. Absolute nightmare, and then arguments in the middle of the night, and nobody can get a drink. It's just disaster.
Aye, so I just got offside all to mums with the wee man. Happy days.
See if I had been on a boat, I'd have thrown the 3 or 4 of them off. Just you get out of here.
You going on Saturday, Jason?
Aye, I'll be there, mate.
I'll be in the Gallagher early. If you want, I'll throw out a wee competition since it's Christmas time and somebody can earn a pint off the parrot before or after the game if they get this question. The best
pint off the parrot? I like that. A pint off the parrot. It's got instant ring to it.
It's a one-half total cash and carry. The question is, obviously, Charlie Green's a visionary, and obviously the last year, Jason will be very aware of it, probably very works. They've filmed like World War Zombie that's coming out, the movie with Brad Pitt.
Aye, Brad Pitt.
See the trailer for it.
Well, my mate Stevie McMenemy, actually a wee boy from Falkirk, I used to work with. Stephen was Brad Pitt's personal assistant during the filming it. One of them old boats I worked on is used in the movie. And my thing is, I think the Charlie Green thing, the only reason he signed James Traynor is for any like Star Wars geeks. Obviously, the franchise has been bought over by Disney and they're going to do more movies. So, where I'm going with this is, Charlie Green's employed Jabba to work at the Death Star, which is lovingly known as Ibrox. What internet bampot would Jabba Traynor like frozen in his office the way Han Solo was? And I'd like to call it, I'll say this once, I'll say it quick so it's not picked up properly, the Hans Provo Award. Who's going to win it?
Do you want me to have a go at it now?
Whatever you want in the chat room, or set a day, and the winner, if Harper or whoever takes it, I'll buy them a pint before or after the game.
Is this a correct answer? Is this a correct answer of your choosing, or is this just like?
Not at all. Listen, the most ridiculous piece can put it out there, a wee survey or whatever. What internet bampot would jab a trainer like frozen Hans Provo style in his office like the movie The Empire Strikes Back?
Fairness, Hans Provo sounds like he's writing Republican children's books.
So is he actually stated this, or is this your opinion? Who you would like?
No, my opinion. Come on, it's cash.
Your opinion.
Come on, aye. Who do you reckon would like frozen and jab his palace at the Death Star?
I think he'd want Phil McGillivray.
Good shout, aye, good shout.
Can I have a go?
Yourselves, obviously. Yourself, Harper, whatever. You decide and get the guy to contact me on Twitter or the girl who wins it, and I'll buy them a refreshment.
All right, so we shouldn't guess that because we're just giving it the answers.
Aye.
You should have made these terms and conditions obvious to us at the start, man.
It's a unanimous thing. Whatever you say, if you contact me and say, would you reckon for that, man, and I'll say aye. There's various people who get it. I don't think there's been. I mean, I've stayed off air. I mean, you look at the weekend where Radio Clyde now. The figures came out that the figures were actually up a few percent, and that was obviously the demise of real radio. But a few Celtic and quite sensible, may I add, Celtic tweeters and forums were saying the fact that as we do. I mean, I'll never shut up about it. The fact that the platform you guys provide every week, and Tommy and other guys, the fact that there's no agenda. It's for Celtic fans by Celtic fans, but people still on my timeline. Willie Keane, shame him, the kebab eater, still listens to Clyde. And the fact that one of their main men was starting to interact and spitting the dummy out, so the pressure's on them, man. And I don't want to see them out of a job, but if you look, the Daily Record's down 52, 53%, so is the Sunday Mail. If they produce good news, I'll buy a paper.
No, I don't buy papers anymore. I don't get the point. People buy papers out of habit. Right, but know what it is, right? I've done a lot of sort of like that sort of research on podcasts and on sort of digital media, right? See the likes of this here, the likes of this platform. It's not like the future. I mean, these journalists probably think, well, all that stuff's in the future. No, this is actually happening now. We're on the crest of a wave now. It's going to wipe these guys out, right? Because the access to information is so great, they can't feed us any more bullshit. We don't have to believe it. We can just type a few buttons and go, oh, by the way, you're wrong. Look at that. Anthony Stokes the other week on Twitter, openly tearing apart. What do you call your man that wrote the article about him? Tom English. All right, so Stokes put him on Twitter and tore him down with facts within about 10 minutes of the article, of me reading the article. So, I mean, those days are gone. Those guys are, that's an archaic practice. We're on the crest of something right now. And it's kind of exciting, and it's kind of just, we also treat it with a certain amount of, we're just doing it for the crack because we're not serious broadcasters. But it's something that is going to gather pace, and God knows where it's going to end, and God knows where it's going to stop. Such a brand new thing. So, see the likes of Jim Traynor and Keevans and Jackson and all them clowns, I don't even bother about them anymore unless they do something stupid. Not stupid, or something that stands out. Like Jim Traynor joining the Rangers. I mean, how obvious did that have to be? I mean, you could see that was going to come along. And you're kind of going, is this guy living in the same world? Has he got no integrity at all?
But the only problem I've got, sorry Jason, is the fact that both me and Jason have been paying his wages as BBC licence fee payers. And he's done whatever he's done while still under our employment, and then he's jumped ship, quite rightly, so I'm glad he's gone.
Aye, and somebody says he's now heading up Rangers' PR department, or PR media department, and somebody says, I thought he'd left the record.
Well, somebody said in the radio at the weekend, they says it's the first time ever when they brung out the 140-day Sevco cake, the fact that Traynor jumped into the cake instead of somebody jumping out it,
But see, in a serious point, see from their perspective, I mean, I don't care about them, let them do what they want, but I listened to the Off the Ball podcast this morning when I was going to work, and they got Tony Roper, obviously a big-time Celtic supporter, and they get Bruce Morton, comedian. I've actually seen him a few times, quite a funny guy. He's a Rangers fan, or he's now a Sevco fan, and he was talking about it, and I think Cosgrove and Tam Cowan were saying to him, so what about this appointment? What do you think? And he's like, disastrous. He says, it's meant to be a new dawn. He says, it's meant to be we're going to start afresh. And I mean, things he was saying was all right. But he says we should have some young guy, somebody that's got his finger in the pulse, somebody that, and then instead of that, they've just got a dinosaur. And that actually says more about their mindset than anything to actually who they've went to front their new slant in the campaign. It says everything about their mindset and their mentality.
It's a callback to what they were before, because this is how we're going to keep it going. We're going to keep on this Rangers tradition of just being, pig-headed and not stopping and doing this and doing that. And we're going to get this guy on because he is. I bet you trainer's been angling for that job since the minute Charlie Green stepped off his jet. You know what I mean? Or off Ranner. Sorry, he was on Ranner. So, I mean, he's been after that job. Let them get on with it. I don't care. It pisses me off people talk about it. It pisses me off that I'm talking about it.
Aye, me as well. I know. It's just something I've got no clue about. I don't know anything about them. I just don't know the ins and outs. I don't want to know. They don't concern me. And, sorry, mate, carry on.
Did you listen to the interviews that Tommy did with David Lowe and Matt McGlone?
No.
He's done a couple of shows last week, and I'll catch you 2 years ones out in the spot. What was Glasgow Celtic's football debt in 1987?
Football. I know that there was 6 million in debt, so I don't know about football debt, mate.
Oh, sorry, just as in total debt in the club. Sorry, I made that too specific. What was Celtic's debt in 1987?
You're no Magnus Magnuson, I tell you that.
Say 6 million quid.
Would you reckon, Jojo?
I'd say 4.5.
Okay. David Lowe was on talking about Celtic's history with Tommy, so it's a fantastic 2-hour interview. Glasgow Celtic Football Club's debt in 1987 was £15,000.
Bloody hell. There you go.
Christ.
And it says how it emulates by how they then sort of...
sorry, 1987. I'm thinking of Celts for change time. So 1987 wasn't then. So when was it? It was early 90s, wasn't it? I'm saying 6 million for then. Sorry, I've misunderstood it.
Tommy's interview goes on to see how the fact that David Lowe says to him how the fact that Celtic never had any business folk in, and they got Liam Brady in and they squandered money, and then the fact that they paid for the main stand to be redone for the centenary season, and then the fact that they wanted to move to Cambuslang and Celtic were never going to own that stadium, they were going to rent it. And then the fact that, I beg your pardon, Tony Cassidy's told me it's 18 grand. And then the fact he's one with Mark McGlone's very good, but he's got 3 new Skype numbers where you dial in if you're in America, Britain, or Canada, and it costs you minimum, or he'll call you back. But no, I think he's got a couple of more interviews lined up, but they're really, really worth it. It's very unlike Tommy's usual stuff. The interviews are excellent.
Right, good stuff. I heard they phoned up, I've not heard it, but I heard they phoned up Radio Scotland. Your call on Saturday after trainer had left.
Did he? What did he say? Did he?
I don't know, I didn't hear it. Parrot, did you hear it?
I caught Tommy phoned up after it. Declan texts me in the afternoon and he says that Cosgrove and Cowan were asking Tommy to phone in the show live. Now, the BBC's been very cute about this. I've said to Paul Larkin about it the last maybe 5 or 6 weeks, 7 weeks. If you've noticed, if there's been any football specials in where any overseas listeners, Clyde's on from 6 to 8 Monday to Friday, Radio Scotland knock out a show from 6 to 7. More and more often now you're getting Radio Scotland are going toe-to-toe and making a 2-hour show, but they're embracing the bandpots, the BBC now, whereas Clyde are just taking you with the stay. But yeah, he's been asked to contact him a few times. They phoned him up at the end of the show, and Tommy said they get a quick mouthful about Jabba Trainer on, and that was it. But they've changed their format, obviously, with your call being binned now that Jabba's left the building. So hopefully Tommy will go on there for a bit of serious chat with him.
Aye.
You just storm the place.
They phoned Hugh Keevans up and all. That was a good one. In 20 minutes with old Shug, he said, I know Celtic's badgy for the grun, Hugh, but internet bandpots will get you in for the Moscow game. I'll get you in for the Super game. That would do well.
Oh, God.
Somebody's posted a photo for Twitter, I'm just reading it now. Some Sevco supporter standing up with a big red, white and blue scarf on, and it's got a taxman on it and says not guilty in red writing, and it's got no income tax, no guarantee, no money back, no VAT, black or white, rich or poor, we still hold the record of 54 and still counting. You couldn't mark their neck with a blowtorch.
Unbelievable. Oh, here, did you see the picture? Maybe I put a picture up actually of the protest today, and it's a girl was holding a sign, and at first the top of it said Northern Ireland, and Northern Ireland was spelled Northen. Northern Northern Ireland. Oh,
But I tell you what, at least that boy, the old zombie who won the X Factor last night, at least he'll get one trophy this season. I'm surprised Charlie Green never brought him into work at Ibrox to show him how to win something. Old Coisty Dreams or something like that.
Maybe they had your man Leon Best and have him on too. The X Factor. He'd never been to a Rangers game in his life, but he was a diehard, so they gave him a coat and he walked out in the middle of the pitch. Yo, waving at everybody. Never seen again.
It's changed. We've got Rod Stewart with Celtic drum kits on the telly, etc. Worldwide brand, and they're getting some smog monster.
Did you see here? Did anybody see Jerry Butler on the Tonight Show?
No.
Talking about Celtic. I'll see if I can find it. My cousin put it up on Facebook. I'll play it for you now. It's a really, really bad video. Like somebody recorded it in there, but he was talking about Celtic on the Tonight Show to Jay Leno.
Right.
And half the audience reacted as soon as he said Celtic.
Aye.
And then he goes, yeah, that's a big roar. Like, what do you hear? I'll tell you that. I'll try and find it now. See if I can find it on YouTube.
He's got a new footballing movie out, and I've seen the trailers for it.
And he's actually plays a retired player, and he played for Celtic. They sort of was it Jakinovsky or whatever? They've superimposed his head on Jakinovsky.
But the thing was, right, if you watch the Celtic teams go, yo, hello, what's happening?
How you doing, mate? How's things?
Good. I'm trying to find this video of Jared Butler and I can't find it. Hold on.
No, sorry, mate. I just thought I'm listening to the show and I just thought I'd give you a quick call. Can I go back to what Jason was saying? I know I've gone a few weeks ago, and me and Jason were like talking about the Green Brigade and that. But I've got to totally agree with him on the Spartan Moscow game. I get kind of shot down on Friday night. We were talking about Ambrose, and I made a comment. It was like tongue in cheek when I says like Nike has let Ambrose out his back pocket.
I made the same sort of statement.
Honestly, mate, I thought Nike was probably. I don't know if you had to look at for the full game. I thought Nike was man of the match, but Nike cost more.
I was going to say, it was 12 million or 15 million or something like that.
I thought he was more, Jason, mate.
He might have been, I'm not sure, but I know he cost a whack anyway. He's a good player.
Oh, I thought he was outstanding. And I was making a laugh with him and Ambrose. I thought they were going to start kissing and cuddling, man. The way they were doing each other. Do you know what I mean? Because did you not see it when they were coming out the tunnel? I didn't obviously see it. It wasn't until I came home and watched the game. Like, when the two of them seen each other, they gave him a cuddle, and as soon as Nike was on his arse, Ambrose was right over there making sure he was okay. Obviously, they're international teammates. Do you know what I mean? But as I says, Jason, I thought, as I says, Ambrose, because I did say on Friday night show, I was like, don't worry, lads, Ambrose is going to be playing him. Nike's just let him out his back pocket at the airport. And I thought, I've got to take my hat off to Nike. But, guys, can I just say as well, see when you were talking about Niku, and again, I got shot down on the show, and I says, cut our losses and get shot at him. And I don't mean that in a bad way. The Parrot says his goal scored at Dundee United was class, but he's only here for a year. We haven't got time to bet him in.
Fraser Foster was here for a loan deal when he was shite his first year.
But what I'm talking about now, you're talking about we're in this Champions League. We've not got exactly 20 forwards to pick for. And, coming up to the January transfer window, do we get somebody else in? And maybe, say you get a couple of injuries before February. So I think we want to keep our forwards if possible, with this Champions League. Sorry?
What about Stokesy? Is Stokesy not due back?
I don't know.
He's too busy out there fundraising for the cause.
Never mind him. I want the Sheriff back. I want my Bangura back.
Sheriff's not coming back. Sheriff
will you break my heart, George?
The Sheriff's going to play in certain European countries. He's like a leprechaun. It's magic when he works in certain places, like Tara Hill and stuff like that there. I mean, here, by the way, here's this video. Here, 1 second. Play this video. Oh, I found it. What's happening? Where's it gone? Alex. You can hear this though?
Nah, slightly.
Oh, a second. Disaster here. Hold on. It's not very loud, is it? Nah, you can't really hear it. Can't hear it, no?
Nah. Just gives tweet the YouTube address it, and then they can all have a watch
I
it.
don't think it's actually even on YouTube.
Chaz,
I'll put it on my Facebook.
Jerry
Aye,
Butler was in Fox Sports yesterday, I know, talking about the Hoops, saying there isn't an atmosphere like Celtic Park, not used to going to football unless there is riot police. Aha.
Who wrote that?
Chaz Duffy wrote it, obviously in New York, he must have seen it on the telly.
I'm just tweeting this here. Put on
Yeah.
Facebook. It's actually a video on the Manhattan CSC #1, which, in fairness, you're on right now, Jason. As well.
Aye.
And
So just get in there and watch it, alright.
that's Tommy next to you in that picture. Is it?
Aye, big Tommy.
I do know him
Aye.
now. Now I know who he is. He's the guy. He's to take the money in the door at Rocky Sullivan's.
Aye, that's it.
I see him now. I know exactly who he is.
Alright.
Mad. That's mad. Small world. Anybody else want to bring anything up? We talked about it a minute ago. We had a conversation going. My head's away. No?
Dave?
What were we talking about a second ago? Before I played Jared Butler and nobody could hear it. Nobody knows.
No, I just
Well-
thought,
This is fascinating.
Well, is it you watching that now?
No, I'm not watching it. You watching it?
No.
No.
No, I'm just typing that thing in there.
All right, no problem. What else have we got to talk about? We got
what results are we going for the next couple of games then?
Ooh,
Right,
so much.
Arbroath, what are we going for Arbroath?
I'd say 4-0.
4-0.
Aye.
I would. That sounds about alright. I'd take 2. I'd take 2-0. But just as long as we win.
Parrot?
4-0.
Celtic Dreams.
I seen him.
3-1.
3-1.
3-1. Aye.
Do you know, class? Can I quickly say something? I've got a competition going on the show, right? And I'll tell you, since I've started it, I think I've jinxed everybody because honestly, we've been going for about 7 weeks, and you get like 10 points. Like for the first goal scorer, correct goal scorer is like 5 points, and the correct score is another 5 points. And we've been going for 7 weeks now, and the top scorer is like 10 points. And it's unreal, so it is. So hopefully we're going to get back to winning ways now.
Super.
Have they took Banggood every week or something? Gee, come on, wish we picked the right players.
Honestly, mate, Parry, you know yourself, like you tune in, but I'm telling you, like they're going, some of them are going, but look at the results we've had in the past 7 weeks. They haven't been great results, let's face it.
Never mind the Celtic, you promised me a Crystal Gale record 3 weeks ago in that cash and carry shambles you put together. I've not heard Crystal singing yet, you're at it, my mister.
Hey, mate, you missed that. You missed it the other night. I put on your women, who'd you call her, the Scottish women, for you, and you disappeared.
What Scottish women?
Annie Lennox?
Lena Mattel. Aye, Lena Mattel.
Oh.
I put on Lena Mattel for you. I put on Lena Mattel. I warned myself to put it on for the party, and he buggered off.
Oh,
Well, I listened into the show. I was in my molten brown bubble bath reading the Phil McGillivray book, and I had you on in the background, and then the Simmy phoned up and I went into repeat. I had to go out the bath and reset my iPhone. I went, oh, cash and carry. That was it. I lost the link, mate. So if you put Lena on, I'm impressed.
I put Lena Mattel on for you, and I was waiting on you making a comment, and I says, I put Lena Mattel on, he's buggered off and left me. Do you know what I mean?
You put Crystal Gale on and we won the European Cup. There you go. Parrot prediction.
Yeah, real player.
I'll put it on for you on Friday night.
It's a brand new section of the show, Pirates Playlist, is it? Jesus Christ.
And molten brown bubble baths, eh? You're not hiding a bit of class there,
I
mate.
tell
I love
you,
it. That
what's next?
molten brown men's aftershave, the pepper one is brilliant. Love it.
What?
The shower gel, the black pepper shower gel is the best selling in Britain every year. Most luxury awards.
Tell you what, Neither of you lads is using conditioner anyway. I know that.
You'll need it for your beard, mate. You get the beard back again.
No, I'm just going with a late stubble, trying to look like Johnny Depp.
I tell you what, Joe, you'd have looked like a cash and carry Jerry Adams if you'd have turned up at that book launch with a beard, mate, with even sunglasses on. You'd potential like that, mate.
If you had seen me about 2 weeks, the month before, I had a full beard. Like, it was great. We've been joined by Tommy in Glasgow.
Hello,
Tommy, what's happening, mate?
what's happening? How you doing, Joe?
Doing good. I believe you're just Tommy, you've become an insatiable pest for anybody in Scottish football, I think, at the minute. Who's not Celtic minded. And it's brilliant.
It's got to be done, mate. It's got to be done. Listen, how you doing, Jason? How you doing, Parrot?
Good, mate. Tommy, tell us, I didn't hear you on Saturday. What did you say? What was your farewell speech to Mr. Trainer on your call?
Oh, it was amazing because for the first time in years, I used my original SIM card with the name Tommy, and I phoned up because I'd woke up, I was busy, obviously the Christmas stuff. I never got to bed till 9 o'clock on the Saturday morning. So by the time I'd actually woke up about 4 o'clock, I checked my Twitter and people were like, they mentioned you, the good brother Declan and some other people. So they mentioned you on Off the Ball, and I thought it was a wind up. It was on the huddle board, so I went, right, okay. 5:30, so Trainer was on, all Fat Boys was on there, Ballhammer himself was, and they done a kind of tribute to him, or kind of half a tribute anyway. And at the time he was on, I phoned up and I thought, right, let's go for it. I went, Tommy Glasgow, I want to talk about how Scottish football is doing brilliantly, just bigging it up. And then so the programme started and they were only putting 4 callers on. And so it wasn't much of a phone-in show, so they gave up the phone-in show. And I don't know what was actually said with Cosgrove and Cowan, but I've got Tam Cowan's number. He mentioned me a few weeks ago because I phoned him and I left a message. And then he mentioned it on the show because the next day I was on, or the previous day I was on Trainer, and I was mentioning the cludge and all that. And so I think Cosgrove and Cowan like me. But anyway, cut a long story short, when they put me on the Saturday show, they went about assassinating their old compadre Trainer quite well. And I think as Parrot once he put out to me, he said, you know, he's done them up like a kipper because he spun this Pro Sevco yarn on their meal ticket for the last few months. So from what I could gather, I think anyway, his ex-employers at the BBC must be rather irritated of what he did. And I think with the writing was on the wall, maybe in for a while there, and how he's played his tickets skillfully to the end when Murray, you know, the tax case, and then all of a sudden he's disappearing. This has been in the works for a while. And but I think the BBC, it was out of their hands, but I think they enjoyed having a few people on ranting against them, and they left me to the end, and they put me on. And my point was, apart from saying Jabba Trainer, but my first bit was, the internet Bampot Rebels have won, the game is over. And I was paraphrasing the good brothers who I had on my show there last week, David Lowe and Matt McGlone, absolutely wonderful gentlemen who helped do something that was so remarkable that the Rangers fans couldn't do, and that was save our club. And it's remarkable, you know, how close to disaster we were, and the bank that extended old Winterbo's overdraft to $1 billion were so willing to close us for $6 million. And as the Parrot said, within the space of 7 years, with financial mismanagement, with a board of trumpets, Celtic had increased their debt from 15,000 to 6 million, and then the bank were foreclosing. But thank goodness for the Bull Fergus. And it's worth listening to hear these two people, because you don't hear me much at all. It's mainly these two guys, and they've got a wonderful story to tell. And the inspiration that they've gave to me, and the Parrot as well, and I was bigging you up on the show. And if everybody's listening to this, tell everybody that you know by a text, send them a text of the HomeBhoys and all the rest of the ones that's out there, because we need to grow it. I mean, what we're doing just now, and what you guys are doing just now is brilliant, and Graham and Beyond the Waves, and the knowledge that we've got, and all the internet bampots, you know, who are offering their opinions and doing all the blogs. All we need to do now, because if we look at it, Real Radio admitted in the summer they gave up because of all shows like Your Good Selves and Celtic Dreams and other good people doing it. And now your call has given up the ghost now, because they were only inviting 4 people on for like 30 seconds, changed format, as they said. So now we've only got one competition left, and now we should be sacking the busted flush of Clyde, sack Clyde, and back the team that you have got and the slogan you have got, and that's what we should be seeking to do. Shut them off at the pass. Tell as many people, don't listen to them. Why are you listening to them? Because at that time of night, go and listen to a show that's on. I'm trying to do shows now, live shows, and as the parrot said there, I've got 3 live numbers, one for Glasgow, which is 416-1888. I've got a number in Dublin, and a number in Boston, and the number in Boston is purely for Mr. Thin Dime Fergus McCann, because I know he likes to be frugal. So Mr. Fergus McCann, if you listen to the good HomeBhoys, give me a phone call on my Boston number, because we want you on. But listen, brothers, I love you to bits.
Tommy, it's always a pleasure to have you on, mate.
Brilliant, Tommy.
You enlighten me. Every time you come on, you enlighten me. You know what I mean? Because we've never pretended in this show that we know anything, right? So we've seen a guy like you comes on, and you're so passionate.
I know nothing, mate.
I
don't know nothing, mate. I'm just a bum, mate. I love listening to Jason, mate. And cause my good friend's coming over from my good friend from Catalonia. A month previously, he's coming over to the game in Hearts. But I would love to meet your friend, Jason, because I've heard so much about him. It's sad that you followed the blue side of Merseyside. Maybe you know it's because everything I hear about you, you're a great guy, Jason. Because a lot of your stories, but it's just sad that you're supporting the blue side of Merseyside.
Hey, come on, mate. If you know your history,
I did like them in '85 for that year with Graham Sharp and what you call it when they were doing it that year. I remember you were talking at the time when I first really heard you on here, you were talking about how you had that wee Tammy when it was half Celtic and half Everton, and I remember having it myself. But my allegiance was always kind of, and when I knew some Scouse boys, and still just now, I always looked for Liverpool and Everton to win, because, you know, the Scouse people, they're just Scottish people who manage to smash Lewis's window and get a pair of trainers and walk down the road. You know, that's what Scousers are.
That's it. How does the River Mersey run through Liverpool? Because if it walked, it'd get mugged. But no, great people, the same as us. You're exactly right, mate. Absolutely. And no, you're more than welcome, Tommy. We're going to have the night on the 23rd of February for all the Basque boys when they come here. So just give us a wee shout.
Coming over,
I've got a few of them coming over for the Dundee game. We're going to have a night in the Tun, so I'll give you a wee shout, mate, and you're more than welcome.
Aye, and what we're thinking of doing as well is, because I'm always keen to find new people, and ever since I heard you talking about it, and I was over, and my friend who's coming over, who works for Barcelona, he's coming over for this game, but I remember when I heard you talking about the Basque people, I mean, I was over there back in October, and I was saying to him, and I was asking him about the Basque region, and he was filling me in, and I was learning more about the Basque region, and what a wonderful people, and you know the language is totally unique language, isn't it?
Aye, it's not got any relative in the world. Aye, it's not a derivative of Latin or anything. The Euskadi language is the Basque language has got no relative to any language in the world apart from their own. Yeah. They've actually got some unique gene as well that they don't share.
Yeah, that's right.
In any other area, but.
That's what he was saying. He says that the people from the Basque region, they go way back to even prehistoric. Yeah, the gene that they've got is different from what we've got as well.
Aye.
Is that correct then? Is that
correct?
Aye.
Yeah, and their language. Well, obviously when Franco was a dictator, their language was banned from 1939 until his death in the mid-70s. So what you'll find is loads of older people, they can't speak Euskara. But the younger people can all speak it. It's mandatory in schools, and maybe up to about the mid-30s and that, they can all speak it. But people in their 50s and 60s, a lot of them, maybe in the rural regions where they lived their own sort of life anyway, they maybe didn't have much police presence. But and during the fascist dictatorship, but the language was banned, and it's different for like in Catalan. Catalan's like. They've got their own language, but it's a derivative of Spanish. It's sort of a mixture between Spanish and French.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
So they can pick that up. But Euskara's got no, it's nothing at all like Spanish at all. Aye.
Yeah. That's what I was going to do. I've been to so many El Clasicos, and it's not that it's getting boring, but my wee boy, he loves it as well. But I was thinking of going, because I checked out, is it April? I think in Bilbao, they're playing Barcelona. And I've spoken to my friend, and I was thinking maybe try and go into that to see Barcelona. In Bilbao, would you recommend doing that?
I'll get you tickets, no bother, mate. Aye, in San Mamés. This is the final season of San Mamés, so they're moving to the new San Mamés barrio, and the stadium's built in the car. it's the building the car park of the old one, but as I say, this is the final season, so you want to get there before the old lady gets pulled down. So what a stadium, and there'll be a few tears shed that day. Aye.
Yeah, I would like to go then, mate. So is it the end of April that one is then?
Aye, they play Real Madrid around about March, and they play Barca in April, I think, something like that. But I'll check the dates, and aye, no worries, mate. Just give us a shout, send us a wee tweet or whatever, and get it sorted. Aye, no problem at all.
God bless, mate. Aye. And listen, thanks for the parrot there for being my PR. I've listened to him. I've not got a chance every time I try phone through. He's been a wonderful PR agent for me, and he mentioned something there about the African Fenian. Well, being a guy who married an African lass and I've got 3 wonderful little children, I would like to. Where can I get them conscripted to this African Fenian army? Where send them?
Foreign Legion, mate. We're not starting any armies, just a Legion.
A Legion.
A Foreign Legion army, but it's too close to Christmas for me. I'm wanting to donate them, see if I can get off my horns for at least a month. Can you get them into that African Fenian Foreign Legion for the next month? Save me a fortune, mate. I'll pay you good money. Feed them mellow birds. On here, by the way, I tried going the other week. I couldn't make it to the good Paul Arkin's book launch, right? But I was going to try and get there later on, but I got a call, my wee lassie. She had to run to the hospital. Everything's all right now. But I was in the hospital that night, and there was a boy for Postal, which is named Joe or whatever it was, and he was going on, he was screaming out, and his face was, his eye was popping out, and there was claret everywhere. I'm just sitting there looking after my Wayne. I mean, he's giving it. I just wanted an extra chicken leg in the parrot, threw me out. And that was a night thing, so you better get the security sorted the next time for a buffet. Next time you get that booth, the Bar Mitzvah buffet king, next time get better security, because that boy was some state, and he only wanted a chicken wing. Sort it out, Parrot.
It was a cold buffet. Nobody told him. It was a cold buffet.
A finger buffet. There's no Jewish clobber at my house, mate, I tell you. I'll promise you that. I spray everything with pork after deodorant so the old 4Gs don't go near it. I'm not having that at all. No chance.
This is outrageous here. I'm not getting let down any garden path, and he's trying to trap me here.
No comment till I get to sign off shortly.
What happened was your man had clean hands. It was a strict pish staying hands policy. So
see an interesting fact as well, I read. See, we're talking about Jews and stuff like that. Scotland is the only country in Europe that's never had an anti-Semitic law. Sure. There you go. Including Ireland. In England, the Jews were banned for England in the up to the 13th century or something like that.
They were all burned in York. Yeah, that was a big anti-Jewish revolt was in York in the 1300s. But half of your descendants, Jason, half of the Lithuanians were Christians, and the other half were of Jewish stock. The Jewish ones ended up in Newton mate, and the lot ended up in the coalfields of Lanarkshire. So that tells you something.
But
is Billy McNeil a Lithuanian? Does he come from?
Aye, Belts Hill, and then the big Lithuanian club in Moss End. My mate went into one night and bumped into a big pole.
What up, Bob?
I'm off. That's a taxi for me, right?
Take it easy, Tommy.
Thanks, lad. Bye.
Hey, lads, we'll have to wrap this up.
Aye, it's just getting a bit crazy now.
My head's wilting here. I'm just falling asleep.
Aye.
Anybody want to add anything quickly before we go?
On you go,
tweet me by Friday afternoon for the Jabba Palace winner, and I'll take them for a pint with a parrot Saturday 3 year after match.
I've got the kids this weekend, mate. Obviously, I've got the kids every weekend. They're my kids, but I'm taking them to the game, so I'll be driving, and so I'll not be in the town before the game. I'll just drive in, park up, get them into the game. But this Sunday, for any would-be baseball supporters, we're having a wee winter special, a wee Mets boys special, myself and Harper, and Big Frankie and Nicky from New York, and Jock will be dialing in for Sunny Ayrshire. And I think we've got a guy for... Where the guy is it, Connecticut or whatever? Is a boy the 10-year radio career, lifelong Mets fan. I think he's going to join us as well.
Why are you doing with this guy?
Just talking about the winter meetings and trade rumours and stuff like that. So we said when their last show at the end of the season, we would have a wee winter Mets special. So looking forward to it this Sunday. So we'll tweet the times for anyone that's interested in baseball. I don't know everybody is, but if you're interested in baseball, we'll have a wee show on Sunday.
I only ever went to the baseball for the novelty of drinking at a sports event.
Aye.
Sitting there going, this is brilliant. I'm completely pushed. and I can stay here for the next 5 hours in the sun.
Did you go to Shea Stadium, or was it that?
No, I live in the Bronx. I mean, I'm a creature of convenience. I mean, it's like, that'll do me. Yankee Stadium, no problem. But I got good seats one time, like 10 rows behind home dugout. I mean, it was good. And then it was a shitty game. It started to snow and it was 1 home run. You know what I mean?
Aye. That's a good defensive display, but 1 home run. You would think when you're not into the game, you're wanting like 10 home runs, but that means the pitchers are absolutely useless. See, I've learned all this stuff in the last few years, and it's a phenomenal subject. Love it. Super. There you go.
There's actually a good podcast you should listen to if you're into baseball. Do you remember a man that was in Jerry Maguire? Remember Jerry Maguire, the movie?
Uh-huh.
Do you remember the guy that played the other guy in the film? The blondie-haired fella? He fires him in a coffee shop.
Aye.
He had a sports show in America called More Sports. His name's Jay Moore, right? Really funny. He's a really funny guy. He does a podcast called More Stories, right? But he gets on sportsmen all the time. He gets on different guys. He gets on boxers. But he gets loads of sport, like baseball players on, and talks about baseball constantly. He's a huge baseball fan, and Pepsi sponsored him to do like a Legends All-Star game and all. But it has all these contests going on for like these deadly baseball things. But he's massive into baseball. But he's very funny too as well.
I tell you what, see Harper now. Harper goes on about if he gets into something, he's got to get into it like full whack. He's got any half measures.
Deep end, in at the deep end, has to get the clothes.
He is absolutely besotted with the Mets now. It's mental. Yep. Just for this conversation, me and him had, it was about this time last year, and I said to him, it was when I started coming on the HomeBhoys, and I said to him, I says, look, I've got a few mates in New York. I says, we could be up for asking them, we could get a podcast with baseball. And he was like, that would be good. So we started the ball rolling, then we got Big Frankie and Nicky involved, and then we started the show. But he loves it, and he's obsessed. You can tell he's totally got that bug and tweets about it, and he's sending me texts of it, and he's into everything. He's getting he's on eBay buying all sorts of stuff, and he's just totally immersed himself in it. But,
it's the hardest club to buy the merchandise for, Jason. I like Seattle because the badge looked like a Stone Island badge, and then obviously I get brainwashed by yous lot into the Mets and try to get into the gear, mate. It's all that cash and carry Yankees nonsense. I know. Burns your eyes, that car, I tell you.
If you see somebody in Glasgow with a Mets hat on, the chances are they're a Mets fan. You see every Tom, Dick and Harry with a Yankees hat on, they wouldn't even know that. They just think it's a New York hat. They don't even know it's a baseball team.
Yeah,
definitely.
But it's some marketing department the Yankees have got, the way they've marketed it. They must make, the millions upon millions they must make that merchandise. It must be the most widely worn sporting garment in the world.
You got guys like Jay-Z wearing it, as well.
It's like a fashion item, and anywhere that sells baseball hats, they'll have a New York Yankees hat there.
Oh, you can buy New York Yankees t-shirts in pennies in Dublin, you know what I mean?
Aye.
You don't have to go to a sports shop. Right, listen. That's me done. I need to go to bed. I am exhausted. Thank you to everybody who's called in tonight. Yep. Everybody want to say goodbye?
Goodbye.
Thanks for having us on, guys. See you all soon. Cheers.
No problem, Parrot. All going well. Celtic Dreams.
See you later, mate. But
plug the show.
Before we go, can I quickly say something? Can I just thank Tommy? Tommy came on the show the other night, and I ended up saying to him, Tommy, do you ever come up for a breath? Because he said, I've got 5 minutes. And about 35 minutes later, he says, I need to go, brother. And I was, but he was excellent. And just thanks for the Parrot and that for coming on the show. He was on the show last week talking and what have you. But as I says, hopefully we're going to have Seamus Cummins on Friday night. And hopefully this Friday or the following Friday, we're going to have Derek Warfield on as well. So,
fantastic.
But I'd just like to thank the guys. Just for the last few weeks and the last few months, just for the support for the Celtic family and for the likes of the Parrot and Tommy and that for coming on the show, guys. So I'd like to thank you very much for that.
Yep, good show, mate.
No problem.
The energy levels of that Tommy's unbelievable. We do one show a week, and to get the 4 of us together, it's a bit of an effort for one show a week. That Tommy's, I don't know where he gets his energy levels. And the Parrot, you've got GCHQ and your loft, mate.
Tommy phones me for 2 hours every day. I've got to hide in the washing machine. Put myself in a full load so I can get a section to take the calls.
You've got a tinfoil on it or in your. You're going to get busted one day, folk think you're doing some funny stuff. You've got just the tin foil to keep Tommy out.
But look, guys, I'll need to go anyway. Thanks very much, anyway. I'll see you later.
Take it easy, man. Right?
Cheers.
Cheers. Right, that's the end of us, folks. Thank you very much for tuning in. We will speak to you next Monday. Next Monday, probably the last show for Christmas, because the next one after that is Christmas Eve.
Aye.
And there's no way I'll get away with doing a show on Christmas Eve.
No chance.
You know what I mean? So, thank you very much, folks. Hail, hail. Take it easy.
Hail.
And
Bye.
adios. Naggard.